Everybody, welcome to SandCity Sports Saturday edition. How's everybody doing out there? Yeah, rookie QBs are balling out. Rookie QBs balling. Veterans still without deals. Yes, sir. Okay, Facebook is good. IG is good. What's going on Twitter? Twitter is good. See here. That's not a valid account. Okay. I got to update. Hold on here. Edit that. Show what time it is. Space. There we go. Update again. Let's view it. All right, it's good. Just like that, moves me over. And where's Twitch? Twitch is good. Twitch is good. Right. We're good across the board. I hope that you guys are good out there in television land on this Saturday. Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. Salute. I am sounding better based on that tussin. I told you, that Robitussin. I did 3 regimens. First day was a little bit shaky. Second day, feeling better. Came back strong. I wasn't going to take no chances, though, so I had to do a third day. Yesterday was my third day on the Tussin, my Tussin regimen. So I'm going to cough a little bit, as you can see. But for the most part, I'm back. I'm back in the mix. Back in the mix and ready to go. Excited for this Saturday edition of SandCity Sports. Just get everything in order. Connect with people real quick. Let them know. As I say, Chris is already in the building. We got a lot to talk about. NFL, most certainly. There's some things in the NBA, right? Giannis trying to see if he can go overseas, play for the motherland. Giannis remains in the conversation in terms of being moved. No extension signed as of yet with the Milwaukee Bucks. Talk about that. So on and forth. So let's get it going. Welcome to SandCity Sports, my people. You know what this is. To the business. I am your host, Nick Country, to SandCity Sports. We'll get back together with you. More sports stories that you need to know. How that your boy rock with me. We're going to be here for and you know what this is. Hey! Run that back. Let's get some of that youthful energy. Some of that Hoop Dreams energy. SandCity. Go! Yes, sir! Saturday. It's going well. SandCity is locked in. I had a big day. Looking forward to sharing with you. Hey! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. SandCity is here. So come on and rock with me. Come on and rock with me. Jump in, join the conversation. Mi casa is su casa. And let's see what's going on. I just noted Giannis Antetokounmpo was waiting for the Milwaukee Bucks. There shouldn't be too long of a wait, right? We understand how these things work, particularly in the NBA, where the players and the owners are much more of a partnership. NFL standing for not for long, right? It's all about the shield, and it's generally about teams leaning on players, as we see with the situations involving McLaurin in Washington, Parsons in Big Dallas. Okay, Pro Bowl level talent, sometimes called neon talent, that hasn't been paid. And, you know, vis-a-vis the franchise tag, teams can go year to year instead of extending these players long term so that they have some security, as is the case in Major League Baseball, most notably those 10-year deals, right? Shohei, half a bill, 600, 700 billies, right? Up front, you're going to pay me now. Almost like the college football contracts. People poking their lip out in college football because the players finally got some money. Meanwhile, these coaches are signing 8, 9, 10-year deals, guaranteed. Even if they mess up. Ironclad. Go back to Sean Miller when he was at Arizona. You getting all your bread. And now, and you know, I don't know if you saw the coach at NIU had a lot to say about NIL and the transfer portal. We might have to get that clip for you. I've been seeing it a couple different places. I don't dispute it. I don't dispute it, but we also have to recognize that it's a free market. And you coaches, agents, y'all been making money hand over fist with security since time immemorial. Shout out to Tony Soprano. Since time immemorial. And now to the fact that you have to engage the players on the same level, yeah, it's a different circumstance. Okay? Because they have say-so. Right? And I was just at a youth tournament today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it as we're going to go sequentially. But I'll talk to you about the youth tournament. It was a beautiful thing. My cousin Tim did a great job. The community came out. It was wonderful. Like a community cookout, like a block party. It was awesome. Music, people, different backgrounds, religions, politics, all that. We just living together, making it work, finding common ground. Wonderful. Weather held out, sunny day. So it was great. But the connecting point is like these these stars, and yeah, they're only in fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, right? They're young. They're good. They got a little confidence, a little chip on their shoulder. Obviously, they have many, many miles and moons to go before they get to where they're going, right, folks? Many. And it's a delicate process, very, very delicate. We talked about it last episode. Okay, Little League World Series, it's wonderful. 70% of those athletes, up to 70%, that's a high number. It might not be 70, but up to 70% are not going to play after, 13, 14, 15. They're not going to play varsity sports in the sport that they're in the Little League World Series for, or winning all these flag football tournaments. Is that what we want to see? No. We want them to have, first of all, we want them to be happy, which is what we looked at last episode. Have fun. Derek Jeter, right? What does Dad say? You do what you want to do, I'll support you. That was the pressure that he had on him. You want to play baseball? I believe his dad was a hooper. But I don't believe Derek Jeter's dad played football. We'll go back. But you want to play baseball? Okay, we're going to play baseball. But you're going to have to work hard. And just remember, you need to have fun. Number 1 overall pick. Okay, a lot of the youths are burning out, right? It has to be their dream. It has to be their vision. It has to be their journey, because it's going to be a long haul to really make it. Okay, you got to keep the main thing. They're young, so the distractions have not come into play yet. They will be there. So you're going to have to, what do they say? Be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. Given much, required much. So that's the case for athletes and anybody else that's gifted, in any particular field. So it's hard. The highlights are easy, but it's hard to maintain and to continue to progressing, to progress. So it has to be something that you want to do, right? So that's one of the challenges that the youth have. And I would say NIL is another challenge. What good is it for a 15 or 16-year-old to have $100,000? Honestly, because that's what we don't talk about as much. A 15-year-old, these high school guys have NIL deals. We talked about there's a 14-year-old just turned 15. He's at the Nike 100 camp, balling 6'5", smooth. Already has the offer from Nova. Already has that offer. Let's check in. Mr. Dad got back to me. He's busy. Just let him know. He's welcome to jump on. About 7:50s. Excuse me. On the left coast. Right? So you have to navigate these things. We're talking, right? The coaches have their perspective. The players certainly have their perspectives. Meaning the players, these guys, these young athletes that I was watching, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, they got options right now. In the quote-unquote good old days when everybody's at the public high school, right? And you're just fending, battling it out, which is tough. You got a lot of good players. You got a lot of good players that's out there, right? That, quote unquote, in my day, and it's been some time, got a high school reunion coming up next weekend, in a week from today. I'm looking forward to it. But a lot of good players, you couldn't get on the field. Talking about his politics and it's this and that and it's the third. There's just a lot of talent at those Division I schools. And you had to wait your turn. Okay, it's tough. In many instances, it was bitter. I can remember that. You look back Chris, good question. How's high school football in my neck of the woods? I'll get to that. It's a really good question. Because I see, again, I was with the Utes today. I was with the younger ones that's being built. But these are they're in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. These are some of the athletes that are going to play varsity as a freshman, okay, which is its own certain thing. There's another way of thinking, whereas these young athletes, you should wait. That's what Cameron Boozer has done. Cameron Boozer, who you're going to see very soon at Duke, who's going to be lighting it up, Carlos Boozer's son. And we know that Arch Manning has waited his turn. My overwhelming favorite to be the Heisman Trophy winner, who I think is going to blast on to the screen when he lights up Ohio State in week 1. Yeah. Arch Manning has been waiting his turn. So there's something to be said about just taking your time, and then there's something to be said about eighth graders playing varsity, which I was with a couple of these kids. It's a double edged. It depends on how you want to do it. Go ahead, Chris. Our reunion is coming up next week. I'm looking forward to it. Been some years since I was in high school, since I was a young warthog. But hey, I talked to a couple of the guys, and they are excited about the reunion. I'm excited. I was able to send them some of the footage that we have archived vis-a-vis the Hall of Fame, which was cool. So I was glad to do that. That's the point of the work of the Hall of Fame, so people can have these things. It's their history. It's our history. It enriches us, right? Ken Burns' history history is. So Chris is going to come through with his reunion story, which I'm looking forward to hearing. Want to talk about high school football in my neck of the woods. It's good. Our school, Barnstable, ranked 12th in the state. Let's get those. I'll get this for you up on the screen. We're gonna talk about some. We're gonna get to some other topics. Luka Doncic, little injury, Giannis. So let's take a look here as we go in. The cough persists. So Chris, you asked good question about what high school football is like in my neck of the woods. We have a strong program here on the Cape in Barnstable. We're the largest school on the Cape, so that's something we take pride in. We battle the other schools in the different sports. It's different than it was, quote unquote, in my day. The overall numbers at the high school are not. We used to have well over 2,000 kids. As my cough hangs around, now the numbers are a little bit lower. There's prep schools and charter schools that have come into fruition. So that's kind of what I was talking about. That different perspective, whereas it used to be, and see Zavarian brothers here. This quarterback, Will Wood, has been getting national recognition, talking about him being a Power 5 QB. So this is what we call the Catholic Conference here in the Commonwealth. Zavarian brothers, Dana Barros, who some of you out there in television land might know, NBA baller, played for BC, did very well. He plays high school basketball at Zavarian. He was our Teddy Dupay. You guys might remember Teddy Dupay, 1999 McDonald's All-American. Uh, Played in the 2000 Natty under Coach Billy Donovan against Michigan State. Tom Izzo's Natty. It's been 25 years. That was my senior year. Right, 25th reunion's coming up next week. It's my senior year. Teddy Dupay, averaged 50 points a game in high school. I believe he's still the all-time leading scorer in the state of Florida. Teddy Dupay and Dana Barris are about the same size, like 5'10", 5'11" tops. And they played a similar game, meaning just lightning quick, can't get, they're going to get to their spots, they're going to get to the basket, and could just shoot it from anywhere. And just to put this in perspective, shout out to Zavarian brothers with this young man, Will Wood, who you're going to be hearing about both in the Commonwealth and beyond. Because, now I'm going to make this point. You're going to hear about Will Wood. He's a Power 5 guy. A school like BC would be good. ACC school, stay local. Playing the ACC locally, even though BC should have never went to the ACC. But that's a different point. Right? Our top prospects, our Division I guys, and we do have them, are not, the top, 50, top 25, top 10. For football, sometimes for not sometimes. Let me take a step back and put some respect on New England. In basketball, the conversation is different because the AJ DeBansas, even though he's at Utah Prep, he's from Brockton, the city of champions. The Cooper Flags, who you all know quite well, Lewiston, Maine. All right, the North Country. So in terms of hoops, we're doing very well, quite well indeed. We go back a couple years. Terrence Clark, that's another Boston prospect, played at Brewster Academy in the Shire. So on the hoop side, we do have that top 5 or number 1 overall talent. And college football, however you want to say it. Football-wise, we have Power 5 talent. Football is one of these sports, and this is something that, you talk about the process and the youths coming up through the ranks. Football is a sport in Massachusetts, I can't speak for other states, whereas you don't have to go to a prep school to go Power 5. So these schools here, the Zavarian Brothers and Catholic Memorial. Catholic Memorial, a little bit of inside information that I'm going to put you guys up on game right now. Not ashamed to say that. The coach at Catholic Memorial used to be the coach at Everett High School, which is in close proximity in Boston. Everett is where Encore, if you guys come into Boston, take in the sights, go to a ball game, and, you might want to go to the casino. The Encore Casinos in Everett. That high school football coach, Coach DiBiaso, hope I pronounced it right, won championship after championship after championship after championship. He built a dynasty at Everett. He ends up leaving Everett, taking his talents to Catholic Memorial, and now Catholic Memorial, who has been known as a hockey school. CM produces NHL hockey players. Okay? A lot of guys go to BU, BC, Maine, so on and forth from Catholic Memorial. They have a very proud hockey tradition. They've become a football powerhouse since the coach from Everett took his talents from one high school, a couple miles north, south, east, west. I'm not a Bostonian, so I believe it's west. No, excuse me, east. Again, the Boston people can correct me. He took his talents over to Catholic Memorial, and so now they are lights out. All right, so to the point, how's the high school football in my neck of the woods? Barnstable, we're competitive. We play these teams. We want to play a top schedule. All right, and we hold our own. We haven't gotten to the point of being perennial powers. The Catholic Conference, the Zavarians of the world, the St. John Preps of the world. You guys know Pat Connaughton? You do know Pat Connaughton, NBA champion with Milwaukee, should still be with Milwaukee. They, who knows what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, but he plays for Charlotte now. Pat Connaughton was a standout basketball player at St. John's Prep. They're known for football. Pat Connaughton also played baseball there. All right, now Catholic Memorial. Again, a hockey power, now a football power. Central Catholic. The Catholic BC High. Boston College High School. The Catholic Conference is just tough in all the sports. And so Barnstable, we we can beat them some years. Other years we take our licks. But we're in the conversation. Hey, yeah, man. Class of '95 at Englewood High. Oh no, you leave at 4:30. You get a text. Who showed up? Your homie? You know, your sweetheart? That's tough. That's only 15 minutes, so you can still go back. You can still go back to the reunion. What's up, bro?
What's going on? What's going on?
How you doing, man? We're talking your neck of the woods. Excuse me. We're talking about high school sports to start with. They asked about what high school sports were. I was telling them a little bit about Barnstable, whom you played for. Some big plays that I'm still looking to hunt down, specifically in the Falmouth game.
Yeah, man. I still feel like we got shafted.
So just giving the folks a rundown. Just giving the folks a rundown of some high school sports in our neck of the woods. Paul Pierce. Oh, wow. Paul Pierce strolls in. Hey, listen, Paul Pierce, because now that you brought that up, so bro, we're talking, we're going to get to a couple of different topics, but I would just mentioned our high school reunion's coming up next Saturday. So main man Chris in the chat always adding the good angles and perspectives. I was just asking about high school basketball. Cousin Tim had his flag football tournament today. It was tremendous. The young guys were out there playing, balling, doing their thing. So that led us into a conversation about youth sports and NIL, so on and forth. And now, Chris, we got to get this. We got to get the imagery because I know we can fight. Yes, sir. There it is. No. Let's get this on the screen for the people so that they can see this. Because we got to talk. And bro, you're lucky to. Excuse me, you're lucky. You're happy to. I'm not speaking. Let me allow. Bro, jump in at any time. We're gonna move over to football. Talk about Jackson Dart played well. Dylan Gabriel played well. Get this out of here. Yeah, man. But now we're just wanted to Chris's point. Paul Pierce, Englewood High, class of '95. Look, I didn't feel that Paul Pierce needed to go at FS1. I thought he was doing a good job. But what I have to note is that, there's a lot of talk, situations that are going on, you know, names and people that have left companies and so on and forth. But shout out to Paul Pierce. His platforms, and again, I didn't feel that he needed to. I hope he's back at FS1. It seemed to make sense him being there. He's from Los Angeles. He has perspectives, particularly in basketball. And then his After Dark show, and then the show that he does with Kevin Garnett, those are both on point. So, ESPN took a zero tolerance approach with him before giving other people leniency, which is kind of wild because Paul Pierce is the first ballot Hall of Famer. And then he took his talents to FS1, was there, and then his presence, his social media, YouTube presence is strong. He's got two good shows. That After Dark, kind of similar to Nightcap. And he has the show with KG where they just chop it up in terms of sports. So I respect how he's made lemonade out of the lemons that he's been served up. Not listening to the critics, not listening to the haters, doing what he's going to do. And, it's working out. So respect to Paul Pierce over there at Inglewood. And he talks about coming up in Inglewood and folks kind of sleeping on him. And you're not going to do well at Can. And obviously we're well familiar with Pierce being in Boston, confident guy. But interesting, that confidence, because people, he was not somebody that necessarily had a lot of support or encouragement, so he had to develop that thick skin. In terms of his presence and his platforms, as I said on sports media, that thick skin has paid off in his favor. These companies saying, okay, it just amazes me because his platforms are solid, so he has an audience. Late bloomer. And then we can go even into his NBA journey, right? Picked 10th. There was a first ballot Hall of Famer that was picked 9th. Do we remember who that is? Bro, do you remember who was picked before Paul Pierce in the draft?
No.
We'll leave that question on the floor. I'll give Chris a second to chime in on that before we switch it back to NFL. Unless you wanted to have anything to say. We've been talking about high school sports, the NIL revolution, the process for the youths. I want to talk about Jackson Dart. I want to talk about Dylan Gabriel. And we also need to talk about Shedeur Sanders in terms of these guys that have the rookie quarterbacks that are showing well. We need to talk about McLaurin with Washington and Micah Parsons still without deals. So we're going to dive into that.
McLaurin got a deal, I thought. McLaurin just got a deal.
Okay, The Athletic. Let me just double check.
I could be mistaken, but I just saw that he got a deal, and they took him off the PUP list.
He's off the PUP list. No deal though.
No deal. Off the PUP, no deal.
He's off the PUP list. That's his contract situation still in the air. Let's go there. We'll start with the veterans who are not being paid. Then we'll get to the rookies who are showing well to be paid. So let's start there. Do you have any thoughts to begin with? If not, I'll jump right in.
Rookies to be paid?
No, McLaurin not being paid.
It's age. It's 31.
You can't hit anybody in the NFL.
Yeah, but still, receivers, I feel like you could find receivers every year.
Is replaceable?
Yes.
You think the young guys coming up? Obviously you have a stud. You have a stud there in Arizona with Mr. Harrison Jr.
Yeah, that's why you see the.
But you're saying his age
is. His age is a factor. Just off of historical, what wide receiver gets paid after 31 and produces.
All right. Let me take one more. I keep trying to. There we go. Took me a minute or three. So, okay, Paul Pierce, the pride of Inglewood. That is crazy. Chris, were you able to double back or were you... See, because that's another thing. Chris making some good points relative to the Terry McLaurin conversation. That's the wrong link. Let's get the right link. I don't know who produces these shows, but they got to step their game up, people. Who is responsible for producing these episodes? They got to step their game up big time. Step the game up big time. What I was thinking is, Chris, Paul Pierce shows up. You left 15 minutes ago, but that LA traffic is bananas. So you're 15 minutes out. That could take you out, an hour plus to dovetail back in terms of what I understand about the LA traffic. But if it wasn't a monsoon of traffic, I'm interested in if you thought about or could have doubled back to that's crazy you graduated with Paul Pierce. So on and forth. Okay, we'll talk about Stetson Bennett. I tend to agree with Chris that McLaurin's got good years left. You know what I mean? And so, and not only that, the Commanders are ascending. I don't understand these teams that all of a sudden catch lightning in a bottle. They get things trending in the right direction, and then they want to pinch pennies. I'm thinking about the Indiana Pacers. You make it to the finals. You break through. You beat my New York Knicks. That shouldn't have happened. You beat the Cavaliers. I didn't expect that happening. You push Oklahoma City Thunder in the finals, possibly in Game 7 if Halliburton doesn't get hurt. And the next thing you know, you want to pinch pennies and let this roster fall apart. Boston Celtics, same thing. We will be discussing to some degree Wick Grossbeck leaving, not being involved, possibly being forced out, which is not good for anybody. All right, so that's my issue with this. It was on the freeway, couldn't go back. Okay, I can understand that. Back to the Paul Pierce conversation. That traffic starts to pile up. I mean, it's treacherous. Oh, goodness. Further, Chargers game just got out, so it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. But for me, now I'm not going to your point, give him crazy, but let's find some middle ground here. Why are the Kansas City Chiefs able to have organizational harmony when it comes to their salary cap and guys getting deals that are reasonable and practical? Why aren't we seeing this tug of war with the Kansas City Chiefs? First of all, it starts with Patrick Mahomes.
Because I'm about to say it starts with Patrick Mahomes.
How so?
He frees up money to get other players, even though he's on such a big deal. His deal is spaced out over 8 or 10 years or something crazy.
True. And if your top player by far, is willing to be reasonable, then that trickles down, as well as the flexibility that he allows organizations. Last I checked, Jaden Daniels was in his sophomore year.
Yep.
So Washington ain't paying a quarterback $50 million. So what are we doing? Right? All you analytics folks out there.
They're getting ready to.
Who is Washington? Chris, what are you speaking to here?
That's what they're doing. They're getting ready to pay him 50. Yes, they're getting ready to pay him. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, they're getting ready to pay him.
Right, they're getting ready to pay him.
Yeah, so then you can't just start shelling out guaranteed money when you're getting ready to pay your starting quarterback, because he needs to get paid. So he's priority right now, to be honest. Even though his contract's up next year. He's getting paid. This is his contract year.
Right. Okay, but it's not in the books as of today.
As of today, he's gonna need a he's gonna need a monster contract. Monster.
So because you're going to have to pay Jaden Daniels, you should have a tug of war with one of his primary receivers going into his sophomore year. That could be a sophomore
Receivers
slump.
are wide receiving is the most expendable position in the NFL. Look at the Patriots, and every owner watched the same Patriots run that we watched. With every Super Bowl run was with a different receiving core. So I mean, it's not like you can't win with a new receiving core.
Okay, point taken. Heard a good take the other day on the odd couple that I'm borrowing. Right, we cite our sources around here. How many Super Bowls did Bill Belichick win with Drew Bledsoe?
None. One actually.
If you he wasn't there for the playoff run, but he started the season. So fine. But my rejoinder for that is you can say that when you have all-time great quarterbacks. The Kansas City Chiefs can move off of Tyreek Hill and still win Super Bowls with Patrick
Okay.
Mahomes and Andy Reid guiding the ship. Okay, I'm not confident after 1 year of success, even though I respect Dan Quinn. That's right, Chris. I borrowed
Man,
that take.
see, that's where you got to think of. You got to think of though. That's the best year that Washington's had in how long? So you're crazy not to say you don't see it. He just did it, and Washington hasn't seen that since RG3. So I mean, it's time to wake up. It's happening right in front of you.
Yeah, they caught lightning in a bottle 1 year. I need to see it consecutive years. I need to see it 3 years in a row. The Jets caught lightning in a bottle
Three
with Matt
years in a row.
Sanchez for 2 years, and were never heard from since. So that's my issue. I
Well,
say if you
they
have
didn't have a,
momentum,
they didn't
keep
have
it
a
going.
they didn't have a quarterback of Jaden Daniels caliber. And if you
Yeah,
think
Jay
Matt
Daniels needs
Sanchez is
weapons.
ever
He
as good
needs.
as Jaden Daniels,
See, again, that's where we're differing because I'm not willing to say that Jaden Daniels can go out there and do it on his own. I don't think that a young Patrick Mahomes would have went out
no
there and lit the
quarterback
world
can
on fire
see
if he
that.
didn't have Kelson. If he didn't have Kelson Tyreek Hill.
What quarterback is winning without receivers
No quarterback.
in today's football? In today's football, what quarterback is winning without receivers?
None.
So I
Maybe Patrick
mean,
Mahomes.
Jaden Daniels, no, not even Patrick Mahomes because they're not catching the ball. I mean, you saw what happened last. They got smoked in the Super Bowl. Probably get smoked again this year too if they play the Eagles. But I don't even see them getting there.
Not everybody can mess with the Eagles. I don't like this. I think this is the
No.
time to circle the
So I
wagons
mean,
rather than have this
I think
distraction.
I think you got a lot of Jaden Daniels slander. Dude's a baller.
Yeah, I agree. He's a baller. So pay his receivers and keep it moving rather than this back and forth.
That's not how the NFL. That's not how the NFL works. Historically, that's not how the NFL works, and it's not just going to start working like that. So I don't. It hasn't worked like that in a long time.
All right, we shall see. I don't like this. Eagles went to the Super Bowl. They got a lot of players to pay, and I'm not hearing about contract disputes for the Eagles. Quietness is kept in Philly. Philly is getting ready to go and get back to the Super Bowl and win it again. Okay,
I mean,
I'm
people
not
have
hearing
left.
about
People
these
left the
contracts and
Eagles.
people beefing with Kansas City. Okay, quietness is kept. They're preparing to make another run versus their murderer's row schedule. Okay, question for you, bro. Will Harrison Jr. have a bounce back year? Is it a make or break year for Kyler?
Make a break here for Kyler, 100%. And yes, Arizona has the most indoor games of any NFL team. So really no excuse.
talked about this, right? They have the Cardinal schedule
Well,
is front loaded. Okay, they
front
have
loaded,
winnable
and I
games.
just think Rich Gannon really like this got to be almost. I feel like from Cardinal fans, Kyler's. I mean, you either got to do it or we're going to go get another quarterback who will do it. So I think that's where they're getting at because Marvin Harrison Jr. is probably going to be one of the best receivers, top five, if not top three best receivers in the league this year. And if you don't give him a quarterback, then what are we doing here?
No doubt. So almost a reverse situation, whereas I'm looking at it that Kyler Murray finally has weapons in order to be able to do what he's capable of doing. You put forth an intriguing vantage point in that no, Kyler Murray better step his game up and put Marvin Harrison Jr. in position to be successful, or we're going to find somebody that can do that. Because if you can't spotlight, shout out to Shane Des Moines, appreciate you, Malin Militia, appreciate you the feedback on the Twitter, the X machine. So that's hey Kyler, we talked about it, Mr. Friday Night Lights, the golden child from the Lone Star State. We talk about these dynamos, these folks, Dana Barros. By the way, we talk about Dana Barros. I don't mind mentioning Dana Barros, and I've met him in person. He's like 5'10", 5'11". Like I'm not a, I'm 5'7" and a half, 5'8", with my Tim boots on. I'm not a big guy, and just standing next to Dana Barros, like he doesn't tower over me. He's like 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 foot in his basketball sneakers. Why am I going back to Dana Barros? Because this dude was known. I told you about the 50 points that he averaged. Legendary in the Commonwealth. Without a three-point line. Shooting Steph Curry threes from the hash mark. All right, Dana Barros, i.e. Allen Iverson, was a dog in football as well. He played football. I forgot that at Xaverian. He's a two-sport athlete. Right? Talk about what separated Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury both. But Allen Iverson, again, similar build, 165. Okay, state champion in Virginia, football. Okay, they still compare him.
Quarterback.
Right.
Quarterback.
They make comparisons between Michael Vick and Allen Iverson.
Yeah. You asked Vic about AI. Yeah, you asked Michael Vick about Allen Iverson. Like he is legendary in football.
Right.
I think he talked about it in his documentary. He was better at football than he was at basketball.
Okay, so just these freakish athletes, and I put Kyler Murray in that conversation. Yeah, these you're gonna be the number one overall pick at 5'9", playing quarterback 5'10", maybe undisputed number one pick, and have neon talent and light people up when you have a coach that can get through.
Let's just remember. Let's just think of the situation that he got drafted into now. His coach, who was the Cardinals' head coach, was his college coach. So let's really kind of just think about kind of the trajectory. I'm not saying he wasn't the best player in college, but I mean it's time for him to either put up or shut up. And it was really crazy because I when it was time for him to get his contract, they brought up that he don't watch film and not like when you start seeing stuff like that, you start knowing that a player's coming to the end of the line there. Just like the Mavs. The Mavs slandered Luka. He's out of shape. He needs to get on the treadmill and start running miles. Put the beers down. So once they start trying to slander your character and you're a superstar of that team, that line is coming to an end.
That's facts. So you're saying
It,
it's a make or break year.
make a break year.
And do you have him being up to the test?
Do I have the Cardinals being good this year? Ooh, man. I think they'll be all right. They got a really good cornerback with I think his name is Will Johnson
Yep.
from Michigan.
Good corner.
Good corner.
So you think they're going to be all right?
I think their schedule is pretty easy.
And my view is the
You
first
went
half
through this
of their
last time.
schedule. The first half of their schedule is easy, and the back half is lights out.
So if they can
So
if they can win the games they're supposed to win, then they'll be in a great spot.
okay, first game against the Saints. Win or loss?
That's a dub. Saints are the worst team in
At
the
the
league,
Saints.
man. Saints are the worst team in
All
the
right.
NFL.
Second game, Panthers at home.
It's a dub again.
2-0.
Panthers
Third
not
game,
good.
49ers
2-0.
on the road.
That's a conference game, so it's not a
On the
guaranteed
road,
dub.
49ers.
That's not a guaranteed dub.
Okay, 2-1. Next game, Seattle at home.
That should be a dub.
3-1. Titans at home.
Dub.
4-1. Colts on the road.
Dub.
5-1. Packers at home.
That's gonna be a tough one.
5-2. Cowboys on the road.
Dub.
6-2. Seahawks on the road.
Dub.
7-2. Niners at home.
When is that Seahawks game?
November 9th.
Yeah, I don't see. That's a conference game. I don't know how they play in their division. That's
1, 2,
where it gets interesting.
3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 1, 2. Hold on. 1, 2, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. 6-2 at. So they're 6-2 at Dallas. They're 6-3 on the road against Seattle. So they're 6-3 after 9 games. Okay. 49ers at home.
Yeah, that's a win.
7-3. Jaguars at home.
Another dub.
8-3. Tampa Bay on the road.
Schedule,
Tampa Bay on the road.
That's a loss.
8-4. Rams at home.
Loss.
8-5. Texans on the road.
Another loss.
8-6. Falcons at home.
That's their season breaking game right there. That's where I don't know.
Okay, so they're 8-6. I'm saying 8-7 because I think the Falcons are coming up. Bengals on the road. 8-8. Rams on the road. 8-9. The first part of their season, they finished the season. They got to win. They can get out to like a 6, 7, 8. They can be 8-2, 7-3. But then they had like the bulk of their tough games are their last 4 or 5 games. They're finishing the season. They're finishing the season at the Buccaneers, Rams at home, at the Texans, Falcons at home, at the Bengals, at the Rams. They could be 0-6 to finish the season.
Yeah. See, and that's when that could be it right there. Kyler Murray, that could be it for him.
Or he could ball out like he's in Texas. He could turn back the clock.
I mean,
he could turn back the clock,
so
but I'm concerned. Talking about Trey McBride, Chris.
Trey McBride's a stud.
You know
He's
what I
gonna
mean?
have a monster year. I mean, he has weapons. It's just now it's like we said, it's either put up or shut up, man. He's in the same boat as like Tua. I feel like Tua is on that. If you don't play well, man, I mean Tua might get forced into retirement.
I think Tua is in a situation, along with Mike McDaniels, where they're both on the hot seat. I'm not a
I
huge
think
Patriots
Mike
fan.
McDaniels needs to Mike McDaniels needs to go. I'm sorry, but
I like
his
Miami Mike.
nonchalant style is his nonchalant style is not working for me in Miami.
I
It's
like
not.
Miami Mike. His
That
his his
team
watch
is
game is strong. Miami Mike walking on the
yeah,
sideline, he bling blinging on the sideline,
he swagged out a little too much before they did anything.
walking
And
around in some sweatpants and just a t-shirt. With that his watch game is super strong.
swagged out a little too much because they didn't. Miami is bad.
All right, how can you be bad with Tyreek Hill, with Waddle,
You don't have a
Mostert?
quarterback. You don't have a quarterback.
Tua has
Tua
shown
got hurt.
Tua stays hurt.
Tua got hurt. Tua stays hurt. Tua got hurt, and that's the season. Tua goes down. Their backup quarterback is like some no name, and that's their season. So that's why Tyreek is pit. Like they they're gonna if Tua gets hurt this year, they're gonna like force him to retire, or that I mean, yeah, you don't want to see him get cut. That's terrible.
I'm glad you referenced Miami Mike, who I'm a fan of. Does that mean I believe that Brian Flores didn't get a raw deal, didn't get shafted, and has every right to be up
Brian
in
Flores
arms?
got that's that that's why you see his case is getting moved forward because they fired him for no reason.
All right, but two things can be true. Yes, Brian Flores got fired for no reason, and yes, Mike McDaniels is the right coach to get through and turn their offense in the direction it needed to go. The criticisms that you hear about Mike McDaniels and the Dolphins is that they're feast to famine, meaning they can score 70 points. They can score 70 points against a Sean Payton defense in his first year, but then they lose. They lose against playoff level teams. They lose when they're not
Because they have
playing in
no
favorable
discipline.
environments.
No discipline.
So the Dolphins are an intriguing team to me because a lot of folks are thinking the Patriots are going to take this huge step forward in Mike Vrabel's first year, which I don't have a problem with because I think Mike Vrabel's a good coach. But I want to know, where was all this energy last year? Okay, I think it's
Drake May
it's a
was a
little bit of
rookie.
a,
What do
a
you mean? What
backhanded.
do you mean?
What I mean
Well,
is
Drake May
he
was a
has the
rookie
same
last year.
roster that Gerard Mayo has, but all of a sudden they're a playoff level team and was supposed to win 9 games. So I think it's preposterous. What I mean is Gerard Mayo is a capable coach,
They signed
remains a
players.
capable coach.
Okay. They signed players though. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You say the Patriots didn't make any offseason moves? What are you talking about?
I said what I said.
Okay, well,
I think all this
you
hype
need
about the
to-
Patriots this year is backhanded.
Okay, well,
Is a
look
slight to Gerard Mayo.
look at all the offseason moves that they made, and what are you talking about? This is the same team. They signed a lot of players. Gerard Mayo got fired because he lost that number 1 pick. Period. And Gerard Mayo got fired because he was calling out his coaching style of I'm going to call up my team and call them soft and say they're weak. That shit don't work. Sorry for cussing, but that don't work. That's not gonna work, buddy. You haven't won enough games in the NFL to be coaching like that. Sorry. That's why you got let go. And you didn't you had the first pick, lost the first pick. So I don't know if that was a slight, if he knew he was getting fired, or what, but we should have had the first pick.
I agree 1,000%.
I'm cool with Drake. So that's why he got fired. Okay, that's why he got fired. You don't lose the first pick. You got fired. We're the worst team in the NFL, Andre. The whole year. So I mean, what? Where are you talking about capable coach? Where was the fight? It was literally embarrassing to watch the Patriots.
It's been embarrassing to watch the Patriots for a couple years now.
But yes, it has. But were you watching? Were we watching the same team? Because they were really bad last year. So I don't think that has any merit for Gerard Mayo keeping his job. Because we didn't even get the first. We should have got Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter should be on our team. I don't care what anybody says. Travis Hunter should be on the Patriots.
I agree 1,000%. And I said it at the time, and I'm saying it right now.
Yeah, he got fired because of that. That's he's probably already going to get fired as is, but hey, it happens all the time. And the Patriots had he needed to win some games. He didn't win not enough games. He could have won 5 or 6 games. He didn't win that.
5 or 6 games. They won 4 games the year before. The end of the Belichick era.
All right, so the end of the Belichick era
was disastrous.
Obviously, it was crashing and burning, but he had a chance. I mean, they were bad. And then him calling out his players, calling them soft. I mean, that didn't do nothing. That didn't do anything to help him as a coach. To be honest, then losing the number 1 pick in the last game of the season. Just lose the game. What are you doing?
My view is, again, it's unacceptable. And
so you
that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I look at a situation where, that shouldn't have taken place. He was swiftly fired, immediately after. It begs the question whether the writing was on the wall beforehand. Either or. 2 wrongs, as they say, don't make a right. So to have the situation where he has no he doesn't have any belief, for lack of a better way of saying this, going into the last game that he's going to be back, that could put him in a mindset to do something that hurts the entire organization. That shouldn't be the case. I'm not saying that it was. We don't know. I'd like to see some reporting on that. Okay? The fact that Gerard Mayo, after only 1 year, being the heir apparent to Bill Belichick, has no job security after his first year. And what I'm saying is, back to Brian Flores, and shout out to Steve Wilkes, who got the Carolina Panthers, by the way, moving in the right direction before Daddy Warbucks, Mr. Tepper, got him up out of there, before bringing in 2 or 3 other coaches. You're paying 3 and 4 coaches. You wouldn't pay Steve Wilkes when he did a good job. Okay? We talk about Brian Flores, who wasn't able to get his program off the ground in Miami. I don't have a problem with Miami Mike, because he's more of an offensive-minded coach, which is what they needed. But you consistently see African-American coaches put in untenable situations, no-win situations. Excuse me, let me finish. Then you can get in. Then you can get in. African-American coaches put in untenable situations and then taking the brunt of the blame. So he's wrong. Gerard Mayo, wrong. Because Travis Hunter should be on the Patriots. I'm saying that. But we also need to say, was the situation the same as what happened? Is he paranoid, or did he see clearly?
Hear me out. Time out. Hear me out. If you're in the NFL, you're a head coach. Your main job is to win games. I don't care how bad your team is. Your main job is to win games. So if you win 4 games, the likelihood of you getting fired is extremely high. Period. Period. In any realm. So Gerard Mayo didn't play his hand well at all by not winning football games. And then he lost the first pick. So, I mean, the writing is on the wall. Every single sentence is written on the wall to why he got fired. It's right there.
Jimmy Johnson won 1 game his first year with the Dallas Cowboys. Dan Johnson, coach. Hold on, no, it's not. It's not.
Okay, but that wasn't coming.
Coach
That
Campbell.
wasn't coming from. That wasn't coming from a dynasty rebuild that the Patriots are trying to rid themselves of the Belichick era. They're trying to rid themselves of the Belichick era. They bring in a coach from the Belichick era, right in the tree of the Belichick era, and he wins 4 games. So, no, that shit can't go on for another 10 years. And they can't go on another 3 years. The fan base cannot let that go on another year. So it was almost in terms of this needs to happen now. If we didn't get that first pick, it needs to happen now. And it did right then and there, like 3-4 days later. So if he went out and won the game maliciously, awesome. But if, either way, he won 4 games. So before that, we won 3 games that year.
Yeah, it's year 1. So give him some time.
You're getting year one. You're getting fired if you win 3 games.
No, you're not. Dan Campbell's first year in Detroit was no lights out year. So what are we talking about here? All right. Kyle Shanahan didn't go to the 49ers and light it up.
Dan Campbell's a better coach than Dan Campbell's a better coach than Jerry Mayo. That's Jerry Mayo's first coaching gig. He was a defensive coordinator under Belichick.
I don't believe
I don't even think he was a D. I don't even think he was a D coordinator. I think he was a linebacker coach.
Gerard Mayo's a good coach.
I think Gerard Mayo was a linebacking coach. And if he was a good coach, he would have a gig right now.
No, because again, that's the same that logic. All right, I see what you're saying. Your take is fine. Okay, but that's the same. So
he won 3. He won 4 games. He won 4 games.
So Brian Flores doesn't have a head coaching job because he doesn't know how to coach. If Brian Flores was a head coach, he would have a job. That's what you're saying.
Hey, well, is there room for him? There's only 32 teams. Is there room for him? No, there's not. That's what you don't understand. The NFL picks who they want as their head coach. If they don't want you as their head coach, you won't be their head coach. It doesn't matter if you're overqualified, qualified, not qualified. Like all this, I'm so qualified. That shit doesn't matter. This is I pick who I want. That's who's my coach. That's my guy. If I want to go higher, shit. Who's the dude that Pat McAfee? If I want Pat McAfee as my head coach, I'll go hire Pat McAfee, and nobody will say anything because this is $1 billion game that we think. Me and you are having this conversation. This is $1 billion game. The owners make the decision. Who stays, who goes. Why Mike McCarthy stay for 10 years just losing. Cowboys fans begging to fire him. Because who had the final say? Jerry Jones. It's
Jerry.
These owners who make the decisions. And that's the end. And until there's black owners in the NFL, I don't even want to hear that shit. Because there's not.
Well, you're going to hear it because there's another way of looking at it, whereas you can't what you're saying is right, that the owners at the end of the day pick who the heck they want to pick, and it's their decision, and they own the teams.
Anybody who they want. It could be fucking a high school coach. It doesn't matter. That's who it's not qualifications out the window. That word qualification doesn't matter anymore. It's who I want there.
That's true. And that's why these teams are dumpster fires. So shout out to Indianapolis, okay, hiring your buddies. Even though, the current regime, they took a chance on Anthony. What you're saying is right. And that's why your teams are terrible. And that's my point going back to Steve Wilkes. and Carolina. So yes.
And that's my point going back.
David Tepper,
So
you can be the stupid
but if you
money.
Think of this, though,
you're the stupid money at the table. But if you want to waste your money and you want to waste the fans' dollars,
they took a chance.
Go ahead.
They took a chance on Jeremiah. They did. They took a chance on Jeremiah. Let's bring him in. He said, let's bring him in and take a chance. He won 4 games. He won 4 games. Bro, the Patriots fans can't. Nah. I'm sorry. Nah. We don't go from a dynasty to winning 4 games. I'm sorry. So if Jeremiah really he took that job, he failed at what he was trying to accomplish because 4 games was not it.
And my view is you give a coach 3 years. You give a coach 3 years.
Hell no. Hell no. This isn't college. No.
No, so you're not gonna
quarterbacks don't even get 3 years. What are you talking about? Quarterbacks don't even get 3 years. Zach Wilson got like half a year.
So if the Detroit Lions don't make the playoffs the first year, then they should have gotten rid of Coach Campbell. Because the Detroit Lions, Coach Campbell turned that around in 1 year.
So Detroit, Dan Campbell came in and changed the culture of the Detroit Lions. Did Jeremiah change the culture of the Patriots? Even close? 1 bit? Answer it. Did the culture change?
It was a tough culture.
And the answer is hell no. Hell no, it did not change. Hell no, the culture didn't change. The culture changed in Detroit. So that's not a good comparison. Dan Campbell came in and changed the culture in Detroit. So yeah, he gets 3 years because the culture is different. He won 4 games and the culture is still the same from the year before when we won 4, 5, 6 games. Who knows? I really don't even know how many games we won the year before. 4.
They won 4.
So another. All right. So back-to-back 4. No, you're fired. See you later.
And for me, the situation had become so toxic, which is what I have an equal issue with. I'm outraged by the fact that they won that last game, as many Patriot fans are. That's an outrage. All I'm saying is that there's 2 outrages. There's not one outrage. There are 2 outrages because he was not put in a position to be successful. The situation was toxic. That's what I'm saying. So he's wrong.
So guess what? If he would have changed, because if he would have changed the culture, which he tried to do, calling everybody soft, saying we ain't out there trying hard. He tried to change the culture. The players weren't hearing that. That's why Dan Campbell kept his job after winning 1 game, 2 games, because the culture was different. It didn't feel like they won 1 game, 2 games.
It takes more than 1 year to change a culture. It takes more than a year.
Well, Dan Campbell apparently came in and kept his job after winning 1 game after changing the culture in Detroit. So I don't. He apparently impressed the owners enough to keep him around.
We'll come back to Tyreek. We'll come back to Tyreek. We're talking Patriots. We're talking Gerard Mayo. I'm 10 toes down that he's an NFL head coach. Not a coordinator, head coach. And he deserves another opportunity after the disaster that took place last year with the Patriots, which partly is on him. Partly. Not entirely. Shouldn't have won that last game. Okay? Should have had more support and security. If he had some security going into that last game and some support, we wouldn't have had the disaster, and Travis Hunter would be on the Patriots. So it's twofold. Gerard Mayo is no idiot. And the assumption that he wasn't aware of the grievous repercussions of winning that last game is out of hand. Meaning like Gerard Mayo did not grasp and realize, okay, that's nonsense. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. And it was a burn this thing down decision. It was wrong. He shouldn't have done it. Even if he was disrespected, because it hurt everybody. There was too much collateral damage. You hurt me. And I'm not even a lifelong Patriots fan. I want Travis Hunter. I want him to be on my hometown team. You hurt my feelings. I'm not even a Patriots fan. Fly, Eagles, fly. Fly, Eagles, fly. But you hurt my doggone feelings. Okay, so there's collateral damage in what Gerard Mayo did. He's wrong, wrong. But it has to be tethered to the fact that he was not put in a position to be successful. We're not only going to tell one side of the story. It's the same thing with social justice in this country. You want to go to neighborhoods and talk about crime, but you never want to talk about the investment in those communities. Tell the whole story. I said what I said. We're talking sports. I made a point about the culture. Anybody's willing to weigh in on either point.
Don't
You're willing to weigh in on
please
either
don't
point.
tie Gerard Mayo. I agree with you, but don't tie Gerard Mayo on his 4-win season performance that was disastrous. We were getting our asses whooped the whole year. Looked like the worst team the whole year. To keeping something has to change. Back-to-back 4-win seasons.
It was bad.
Back-to-back four. And, the Patriots took a chance on bringing in a rookie coach after winning 4 games. That's a really tough hire after winning 4 games. And they're trying to rid themselves of the Belichick era, which Gerard Mayo is the Belichick era. So, it's almost like he took that job with a double sword, but we were the worst team in the NFL the whole year. So, I mean, that's a really, I would say, Brian Flores, that is something we can discuss. I think the Dolphins made it close to the playoffs or something. But the Gerard Mayo situation, trash. Because the Patriots were a dumpster fire the whole year. They really were. He was calling out the team. The team loses 8 straight. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, he just wasn't a good coach. Like, Antonio Pierce got 2 chances because he was at ASU and he done burnt it down at ASU, cheated his way out, put us on probation because he ain't know how to coach. Went to the Raiders, burned it down in Oakland. NFL, you got to really, and this is why Pete Carroll came back, got a job. There's a type of man that can lead these men. And if you want to be a top tier program and win Super Bowls, you have to have a top tier coach. And that's where you really see. I see the Cardinals. Gannon, I think he's a great coach. I really think he is a great coach. He comes from the Eagles tree, but he is a defensive mind coach, and he has some really great weapons. So I just, that's a different situation. But that's where when you take a job, so them hiring Vrabel is going to be, it's almost the we have to do it higher because Vrabel has won games in the NFL before. You take Jared Mayo, his record is 0. Well, now his record is 4 and whatever, 4-12, whatever our record was. There's no time for that. You take the Patriots job, it's to win now. And he was saying that all in the beginning. Like, I don't think you remember, but I remember it was expectations to win. We had a rookie quarterback. So yes, we understand there's going to be growing pains. But he didn't even play Drake May. So, like, just in terms of his staff, the old coordinators he chose, it was just all bad. So that's where I just, I felt that way before that he kind of got dealt, like did wrong. But then I really sat down and thought about it, and then thought that he really lost the first pick, which either way is just absolutely atrocious. I would love to see in the last 20 years in the NFL teams that have lost the first pick on the last week of the season, because I feel like that doesn't happen. Really doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's unacceptable. But again, to me, it's a two-sided coin. I didn't have an issue.
We were the worst
team. I thought it made sense not to throw Drake May into the fire early and try to play Bissett. And frankly, but if I recall correctly,
that's your job.
I believe it was Gerard Mayo who was arguing to play Drake May because he felt the pressure that you're talking about, that Drake May was better and he needed to win games.
He needed to win games. Like, he needed to play Drake May from like week 2, week 3, because Jacoby cost him his job. Jacoby Brissett is the reason why Jared. You want to be fired up and mad at anybody in this whole situation? Be mad at Jacoby Brissett. Be mad at Jacoby Brissett. He came over and he played for the Patriots like he was playing for the damn Colts. He made us look like the damn Colts last year. And I just that's why Jerry Mayo got fired. You had a quarterback out there making us look like the New England Colts. The New England Colts who hang up divisional championship fucking banners. Losing ass Colts.
Hey, I think, the Colts, they're no good. And you could also say, and I was happy for Jacoby to get the opportunity. I thought he could. I overestimated Jacoby Brissett. I thought he could go in there and give you stability. Just manage the game.
No. Jacoby Brissett can manage 2 quarters. Okay? In the preseason, when the shit doesn't matter. That's what Jacoby Brissett can manage. Jacoby can manage how to get you on the unemployment line, like he did for Jared Mayo. Okay?
Yep. He didn't get the job done. And I think that, people in the organization wanted to kind of let Drake May chill. And he was able, and he had to, he had to throw him out there a little bit sooner. And got people in the chat, you're an international man of mystery, bro. Say, what's your name? What's your name?
Wayne.
D. Wayne. Bringing the fire on the Patriots.
Man, that fires me up because I felt with your take. I really did. I was like, damn, they did Gerard Mayo like wrong. He's like black head coach. And then I was like, you know what? He won, realistically, he won 3 games, and then he burned the shit down with that 4th win. You can't keep your job like that. You really can't. Not in any profession. You basically told the CEO to go F themselves.
He did. No, it got ugly.
So
it got ugly.
It got ugly. And once it gets ugly, there's really, the one thing you will not get away with in the NFL, and we can all, and you could probably agree with this the most, is once you start slighting your owner, that bus ticket is going to be on your door so fast. And you got to give me like 2 minutes, bro. The fireworks just went off, so I got to go watch the fireworks real quick. So keep the conversation going. I'll be right back. They got fireworks every night, so I'll be right back.
He's going to be back, folks. I told you, he lives, my bro's out there in AZ. I don't know if you've been seeing the weather recently. AZ is, they're in their furious summer season, so it's 115, so on and forth. And he lives close to where they have the Phoenix Open, the Waste Management Open, every year. That's close to him, that golf course. So I guess they have something where, you're in that fierce heat. And if you live out there, we still have a couple weeks to go before school starts, but those troopers out there in AZ, they're already back to school. So they start school during this the end of the summer where it is. And Chris, you might have some insight into this being out there in Cali. It's wild for me to see it coming from Massachusetts. That's cool. They got fireworks out there at Disneyland every night. Just people come out, can share community, can appreciate it. That's awesome. But I was talking about how the schools out west, particularly in Arizona, they're outside. The schools are outside, meaning it's like a courtyard. So like if you open the door from your class, you're outside, and you walk, and so of course I'm in New England. I was like, what? It's like, what happens when it rains? What happens when it snows? It doesn't rain or snow too often out here. Obviously it rains on occasion, but they have the outdoor campuses. That's how the schools are built, which makes a good amount of sense. If it's 115 degrees, so instead of having to cool down the entire building, you cool down those select rooms, and then you get outside. Hopefully there's some doggone shade, but they make it work. So that's pretty cool. Family can go out and enjoy the fireworks. Bro will be back. He's juggling many responsibilities. His job. He's got a growing family, so he's doing a lot. We appreciate him. Appreciate him checking in with us on SandCity. That's cool, man. Disneyland, they got the fireworks every night. We have our fireworks, obviously, here in the Cayman Islands, certainly for the 4th, and then going into Labor Day, which is coming up. There's going to be some fireworks, too. Boobs. I'll ask my bro about that, the sandstorms. Not as privy. Not as privy to the sandstorms, excuse me. So I will see. We'll get his perspective on that, right? But conversation shifted. We're going to go back to talking about Tua, Tyreek, Waddle, and the Miami Dolphins, because there's a lot of folks that are on the hot seat there. But we shifted gears over talking about the Patriots just because of this perspective that they're going to have a bounce back year. They do have talent. Didn't get Travis Hunter. They have a really quality player in Will Campbell at tackle, who means a lot. Your left tackle to protect Drake May. Give him some time. Stephon Diggs is a dude. Can he match the production? Right? Are we going to get which Stephon Diggs are we going to get? Are we going to get the prima donna diva, or are we going to get the guy that's about that life that was lighting it up?
I'm
right?
already feeling like we're getting the diva.
Yeah. So these are some question marks, and let's be clear about it. I'm rooting for the home team. Root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. I'm rooting for the home team, folks. I want the Patriots to do well. All I'm saying is, when I hear all of this feast to famine talk, and I believe in Mike Vrabel, I can concede. I'm not going to be wild here. Mike Vrabel's a better coach than Gerard Mayo. I think Gerard Mayo's a head coach. I believe he needs an opportunity. I believe he needs some runway. Same thing is true for Brian Flores. Same thing is true for Steve Wilkes. Same thing is true for other coaches. That's what I'm saying. Two things can be true. Dumpster fire in terms of losing Travis Hunter. Unacceptable. But the cauldron of fire had already been lit before that. Let's not make that the first error. Let's not make that the first step in that direction. They had already gotten well down that road before he did what he shouldn't have done. That's all I'm saying. Now, bro.
But this is what you say, though, Andre. When you say that, though, this is what you said. He called out the team. He said, "We're playing soft, whatever, playing soft." They lost like 8 straight, 9 straight. So your players aren't even responding to you.
Facts. That's a big problem.
That's a big problem.
They got a question, bro. Chris is wondering about these sandstorms. What do they call them? Hababs?
Yeah. Yeah, yep.
They got sandstorms swirling up in the desert.
Yes.
That's no good. You got to run for cover.
I've
I
seen,
wasn't aware of those.
I I've been on the highway for one, and it just went. You can't see what's in front of you.
Ooh, that's no good. You got to get off the road. That's
Yeah, they're
dangerous. Very
dangerous.
dangerous.
They're dangerous.
It's interesting. I wasn't, all the years being out in AZ, and I was not. I didn't think of or was not aware of these sandstorms. Okay,
Well, that's
let's go
because
back
you got to
to
be out here for monsoon season.
monsoon season in the desert, flash flooding season. All right, so the Dolphins had a spirited debate about the Patriots, specifically, Gerard Mayo. I have the Dolphins as the second best team in the AFC East, formerly the AFC least, ahead of the Patriots. That's something which is now debatable, as we've been going back and forth for a time here. That there's this view and consensus that the Patriots are having this bounce back year in year one, adding a couple pieces. Let's take a look at the Dolphins, who I have as the second best team and making the playoffs.
The Dolphins don't have a starting cornerback.
A starting corner.
Corner.
Didn't they just pick up Ramsey?
No. Ramsey plays for the Steelers.
They traded Ramsey, excuse me. My bad on that. Therefore, they don't have a starting corner.
They have no corners. So they're going to
Gotta
be
get my
pretty.
football
I
takes
think
right.
they're going to be pretty bad. I think they're going to be pretty bad. And the reason why is their defense, which has always been pretty, I would say, not the best. They're already facing injury problems before the season even starts. How
No
you have
doubt.
depth issues before the season even starts?
So they're weak at corner, but can Minka Fitzpatrick cover? Can Minka Fitzpatrick cover? My bad. That's on me. I got, traded Ramsey, got back Fitzpatrick. So can he shore up their secondary? You're saying no.
Minka, no. They shouldn't
Okay,
have got
so
rid of Minka in the first. They shouldn't have got rid of Minka in the first place. That's where. Whew, this is Minka's second run, but they traded Minka and then he went and had his prime in with the Steelers, and the Dolphins are doomed. And Mike McDaniels is getting fired. Call it. You heard it here first. McDaniels getting canned. End of the year.
so you're saying Miami Mike is out of there.
Miami Mike is out of there.
Oh boy. Again, back to the
Miami Mike
watch
will.
game. I tend to root for Miami Mike. Chris, again, still bringing the perspectives. We'll talk about the Jets, but I'm a Miami Mike guy. You're bringing up some good points. I need to get my football information in order. Ramsey, Steelers, Patrick, Minka is with the Fins. Let's take a look at their roster, bro. You can go. Um, First game, Colts. What do you have? Win or loss?
Colts. For the Dolphins,
Yes, first game against the Colts. Win or loss?
I think the Colts are trash. So the Dolphins, honestly, I don't know, man. I think the Dolphins are gonna win. Like they're gonna go 500, so they're gonna be 8-8.
All right, so let's see. Colts first game, I have them at 1-0.
Yeah, they
Here we
win
go.
that game.
Marquee matchup. Second week at New England. I have them 2-0.
Loss.
So
It's a
I
loss.
have the
At New
Dolphins
England,
beating the
that's a
Patriots.
loss.
I
Too
have the
early.
Dolphins
It's a
beating the
loss.
Patriots in week 2. It's a big game for both teams. I got the Dolphins coming up on top. You have them losing, so 1-1. All right, we'll go with your takes. We'll say 1-1. At the Bills, 1-2. At the Jets, what do you have?
Loss.
Win or loss?
Loss.
You say they're losing to the Jets.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
We'll
telling
agree
you,
to
man,
disagree.
I really don't believe in the Dolphins at all this year.
Okay,
I
so
think they're going to be really bad.
all right, you say Dolphins are going to be bad, so you've established your take. Chris is high on the Fins. Waller is back.
Really
Okay.
cooking.
Excuse me. Chris is high on the Jets. Chris and Jason McIntyre would get along.
So this is where
J-Max,
I think Aaron Glenn for the Jets. They got a good head coach. And they had a good head coach. Is Justin Fields the guy though? Doubtful. Very doubtful.
All right, let's talk about the Jets, but I want to address the Fins first. You've said 8-8. I'm going to give my takes. Let me go down this schedule, and we'll see what I see. Talking Fins, Colts 1-0, Patriots 2-0, at the Bills 2-1, at the Jets 3-1, at the Panthers 4-1, home versus the Chargers 4-2, at the Browns. I think they lose that game 4-3. At the Falcons 4-4. At versus Ravens at home 4-5. That's a tough stretch. See, this is where it's tough for them. I have them 4-5. Bills at home.
Loss.
I have them beating the Bills at home 5-5. Commanders at home.
Hell no.
These are tough games.
No,
I'm picking the Dolphins 6-5. I said what I said. Saints 7-5. At the Jets,
Dolphins
8-5.
are beating the Commanders. Who
at the
they don't
Steelers
have
8-6. Bengals at home 9-6. I have the Dolphins beating the Bengals at home 9-6. I said what I said. Buccaneers at home.
You're not.
At home for the Buccaneers 10-6. On the road against the Patriots 11-6.
You just said they're beating the Bucks 11-6.
Okay, so let's go over this again for everybody.
You also thought Ramsey was still on the team.
I did. I believe in Mike McDaniels. I believe in his offense. I believe
look at the depth chart. Look at their depth chart again. And you believe in Tua. I believe Tua played 6 games. You look at their depth chart.
All right, let's go over this again.
Look at their depth chart. Then go.
They're going to beat the Colts 1-0. They're going to beat the Patriots 2-0.
No.
They're going to lose to the Bills 2-1.
Depth chart.
They're going to beat the Jets 3-1. They're going to beat the Panthers 4-1. They're going to lose to the Chargers 4-2. Can the Dolphins beat the Browns on the road? Honest takes. I think the AFC North is tougher than people realize. So they're 4-2 going into Cleveland.
You're talking about the Browns. Like, the Browns are good, man. The Browns are not good. So
the Browns' defense is ridiculous.
Who the hell is their quarterback?
Joe Flacco.
That's RB1. It's looking like doomsday in Miami. I'm telling you.
So injuries?
Doomsday in Miami. Injuries. The bug is already there. So whatever you're saying is cool, but their team is hurt already. We're not even through 2 weeks of preseason.
All right, the team is hurt already. Okay, so they have Cleveland at Cleveland. They're 4-3. Cleveland's going to be tougher than people realize. That's my view. 4-3. They're on the road.
That has a good
They're on the road against the Falcons. The Falcons are going to be better. They're 4-4. Ravens at home. They're 4-5. Bills at home. They're 4-6. Commanders at home. 4-7. That's a tough stretch. I think they're going to lose 4. I think they're going to lose 5 in a row. You're going to lose
If
to
you
the
lose
Browns.
5
You're
in a
going to lose
row,
so they're 4 and
and
7.
then they're gonna win, and they're gonna win.
Then they're going to win 2 in a
4
row.
and 7. So
They're going to beat the Saints. They're going to beat the Jets. They're 6 and 7. They're going to lose to the Steelers, 6 and 8. Bengals at home.
that's a loss. They don't have a cornerback. They don't have a top tier corner. So that's a loss.
6 and 9. Buccaneers at home.
Loss. They don't have corners. These teams
6
that
and
have
10.
good passing attacks are smoking
Patriots
them.
on the road. 7 and 10.
So 7 and 10.
I have them beating the Patriots twice.
Okay. I don't see that. They always split it,
But they're non-conference. They're non.
split it.
The AFC is a monster. They have injuries. So
11 games. 11 games though is a stretch. It's a stretch. They're not winning 11 games.
well, can they beat the Buccaneers at home? Can they beat
Hell
the Bengals
no.
at home?
Hell no.
You said they have no corner. Does Cincinnati have a corner, a safety, a linebacker, or anybody? Cincinnati's defense is trash.
Cincinnati has the best receiver in the game right now.
And arguably the best quarterback in the game.
Quarterback who is lights out. And a quarterback who is lights out. So
And no defense.
I mean, that's fine. They could get in a scoring battle against the Dolphins. The Bengals are better than the Dolphins.
Yeah, but the game is in Miami.
That's fine. Perfect. It's warm. The Bengals will be on vacation. That's a vacation for Cincinnati. You know what the weather is in Cincinnati at the end of the year? Freezing.
I'm well aware. That's why they're losing to the Steelers.
No, they're winning to they're going to Miami. They're on vacation.
You know, they're in the AFC, so they got some games that are just going to be tough. Okay? Chargers. Again, people want to keep knocking the Browns because they don't, the Browns are just going to line up and knock the tar out of teams. All right? Are they going to lose to the Ravens?
The
Browns what? The Browns have been making the playoffs.
The Browns are not going to be
The Browns
good.
have been
The Browns are making the playoffs.
No, the Browns have been in the playoff conversation and with what? Right? With a lights out defense and a ground and pound, just beat the hell out of you offense.
And who's their running back?
Yes, the Browns are not the Ravens. And I think the Steelers are better because they actually have a quarterback. But people keep disrespecting this team as if their defense is not going to destroy people. As if Myles Garrett is not going to maul people. And offensively, they're just going to line up and run you over and play off the play action. So they're not going to be.
The Browns win. The Browns win 6 or 7 games max.
All right, we need to take a look at this, and then we'll get to
They get another top 5 pick next year. How about that? The Browns get another top 5 picks next year.
We're gonna talk about the Browns. Who's a better team, the Browns or the Patriots?
They get another. The Patriots every day of the week.
No. The Patriots are not better than the Browns this year. No.
You're smoking crystal meth.
I might have to watch Breaking Bad.
Yes. You gotta finish Breaking Bad because you are hanging out with Jesse
finished
Pinkman.
Breaking Bad. Stop it. I didn't finish Better Call Saul.
With that statement, you didn't finish Breaking Bad either. Because with that statement,
stop it.
The Browns are better than the Patriots. The Browns are better than the Patriots.
A team that won 4 games last year.
Serious.
A team that won 4 games last year.
Slander. The Browns won 6 or 4. What? The Browns won 2 more games or 1 more game?
The Browns right now, today, are better than the Patriots. Yes.
No. Absolutely not.
All right, it's going to be difficult.
Jesse Pinkman's universe.
It's going to be difficult for Miami. Injuries and then just their schedule. I'm high on Miami. I think they're ahead of the Patriots. People want to just give the Patriots because
Mike hating on the Patriots. You're hating on the Patriots. They got
I'm
some,
hating on the Patriots. The Patriots were banking on Stephon Diggs. I'm hating on the Patriots. A team that's
corner? Who's their corner? Say his name, because he's one of the best corners in the NFL. So go ahead, say his name. Lockdown the whole side of the field.
Right. Okay. You can say his name.
You know who he is? Say his name. He's an all-pro. One of the best corners in the NFL. Teams actually don't even like to throw at him.
So the Patriots defense is better than the Browns.
I mean, we'll see. This year, we shall see. Our offense is better than the Browns.
Christian Gonzalez can just completely change a team's game plan. That's what you're saying.
100%. 100%.
Christian Gonzalez. Okay. So are you saying he's the
top 5 corner? He's a top 5 corner in the NFL. Yes, top 5 corner. Top 3 corner.
All right. What I need to have some clarification on. My screen here is taking a second. So we got to X out some screens. All right. Respect for Christian Gonzalez. Okay, point taken. Chris has just noted, talking about Gonzalez being potential defensive player of the year.
I mean, dude is absolute.
This is my view. Christian Gonzalez is solid. He's good. He's up and coming. He's not going to have the same impact as Myles Garrett.
No, but Myles Garrett's on the defensive line. But the Browns as a team are not better than the Patriots.
And I say they are right now. I don't think the Patriots.
Well, the Browns play in a very tough division. So that's how the cookies crumble. So and they're not winning games in that division. So.
And I say they may not win games in that division, but they're taking their losses in that division out on other teams. Let's take a look at their schedule. Okay, so they're not going to win games in that division, but then they're not going to lose to the Patriots either. They're going to take their lumps from Baltimore. They're going to take their lumps from Pittsburgh. They're going to take their lumps from Cincinnati. They're not taking their lumps from New England. That's my view. All right, let's take a look at the Browns' schedule.
Won 4 games last year, so that won't get you very far if your benchmark is beating the Patriots right now.
All right. So the Browns
they're not better than the Bucks. They're not better than the Bucks.
No, they're not.
The Browns aren't better than the Cardinals.
We'll see.
Not better than the Cardinals.
So the Cardinals are going to stop the Browns from running the ball.
The Cardinals will have more wins this year than the Browns. Yeah.
Right? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Cincy. Let's take a look at their schedule. And I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah,
in terms
but they don't have a quarterback, man. You are not.
They don't need a quarterback. They need a game manager.
Who the hell is throwing them the football? Who the hell is throwing them the football?
You're gonna wake up Emma.
If you say Joe Flacco,
yeah, Joe Flacco's a game manager.
Flacco.
He's just a game manager. That's. I'm not saying he's going to get. He's just going to do. He's just going. Joe Flacco is an old Christian. Is an old Brock Purdy. He's an old Brock Purdy.
Is not getting.
He's an AARP Brock Purdy.
He did last year.
He's Brock Purdy with the retirement benefits.
Last year, and he saved it. You brought him in last year and he saved you. You brought him in last year and he saved the Browns, won some games. But he's not that is over with. Do you see his face on the sidelines during the preseason? He doesn't want to play.
Okay, let's take a look at the
Joe
schedule.
Flacco is one hit away from
Bengals
retirement.
at home,
One
first
hit away
game of the
from
year.
loss.
Bengals at home, 1-0. They're going to beat the
Loss.
Bengals. All right, I have it as a win. Bengals historically start the season slow. They're going to beat the Bengals the first game of the year. But okay, fine. Let's take. All right, I'll take. All right, 0-1. At the Ravens, 0-2. Packers at home, 0-3. At the Lions, 0-4. Vikings at home, 0-5. At the Steelers, 0-6. And now we get to what I'm talking about. So they're 0-6. They're going to beat the Dolphins, 1-6. They're going to beat the Patriots, 2-6. They're going to beat the Jets, 3-6.
We play the Browns this year. I can't.
They're going to lose to the Ravens again, 3-7. They're going to beat the Raiders, 4-7. They're going to beat the Niners, 5-7. They're going to beat the Titans, 6-7. They're going to beat the Bears, 7-7. They're going to lose to the Bills.
5-game win streak.
Yes, I do.
On a 5-game win streak.
Yes,
in the middle of the season.
Yes, they are. They're going to lose to the Bills, 7-8. They're going to lose to the Bills, 7-8
at this point.
They're going to beat the Steelers. They're going to beat the Steelers at home, 8-8. Cincinnati on the road.
Beat the Steelers.
Cincinnati on the road, 8-8. They're going to beat Cincinnati, 9-8. They're going to go 9-8. They're going to split with Cincinnati. So if you have the Browns losing to Cincinnati at home for the first game of the year, that means they're going to beat Cincinnati on the road to finish the season. They're not losing both those games.
They're splitting. They're going to split with the Steelers too. Get out of here. They're not splitting their in-division games this year. No way.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
The Ravens are better than the Browns. The Steelers are not night and day better than the Browns. The Steelers are not head over heels better than the Browns.
Have a quarterback. The Browns do not have a quarterback, man.
Their defense. Chris says 7-10. So Chris is agreeing with you, saying that they're going to lose. They're going to lose those games against.
I'm just curious to where, like, if you start the season 1-6 or 2 and whatever, like, that locker room, it's getting spicy in there. I don't like. This isn't Madden. Like these players got real emotions, and you see a team lose 6 games straight. Very well, damn sure they could end up with 4 wins. FAE Patriots last year. Oh, Mayo tried to light a fire. Guess what? When you light a fire, it could do the wrong thing and it can burn you. So you say it lightly. You can't just teams don't just start the season 0-6 and then end up miraculously 9-8. Like that really doesn't happen a lot. It really doesn't.
You're playing against Super Bowl contenders and division leaders. Your first 6 games.
So,
their first 6 games are against Super Bowl contenders and division leaders. What do you expect?
So hopefully your quarterback makes it out of those 6 games not hurt, because he's literally 2 hits away. If they go out there and start Joe Flacco, he is 2 hits away from collecting that unemployment check, because he's not going to be playing this year. They're going to be starting either Shador, Gabriel, or one of those. Watson's not even there. So their quarterback situation is going to be pretty bad. I can already see it.
You play the Bengals with a top-tier offense The Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. The Packers are a division leader. The Lions, these Packers and Lions games are winnable. Packers, Lions, Vikings, those games are winnable. I don't think they're favored in any one of them, but the Packers they have at home. That's a winnable game, even though the Packers are the better team. Um, so the Lions are supposed to be as good as they were last year after losing their OC and DC. Stop it. They're taking a step back. The Lions are taking a step back, and they have guys coming off of injury. So I will give them that
But
they are the favorites, but they're not
I
overwhelmed.
don't
They're
think
not
the
the overwhelming favorites
Browns.
against the Browns.
I
And the
don't think the
Vikings,
Browns are going to beat the
the
Lions.
Vikings have a new quarterback that they're trying, and
You want Hutchinson's coming back? Did you realize that?
yes, I do. But he's coming back off of injury, so it's going to take him some time. He's
The
back,
Lions
but
are going to be the real deal. I mean, he
he's
was
been the
out. He
real
was
deal,
out
but
for a whole
he's coming
year.
off of an injury.
He's been out for over a year. He's going to come back. It's not like he's got a. That's what preseason's for. The NFL has preseason for a reason. Get your
Yeah,
reps in.
yeah. And he doesn't have the same DC that they don't have the same staff that they had. They're not the same team.
Well, one
Bengals,
thing is the
Ravens,
same.
Packers, Lions, Vikings, Steelers. Right? That's as tough a first 6 games as any team has. I can
Okay, so if you
concede they'll
go 0 and
go,
6, that's an
but
issue.
they
If
can
you go
steal
if
that
you go
game
0
against
and
the
6,
Bengals.
that's an issue.
They can steal
If you
that
go
game
1
against
and
the
5,
Packers. They can steal that game against the Vikings at home. So they could be 3-3. If they win their home games, they're 3-3.
I don't see it.
Ravens on the
I
road,
don't see it.
Lions on the road, Steelers on the road. Bengals,
They don't have a
Packers,
quarterback.
Vikings. You can win all three
They
of
don't
those
have a
games at home in the dog pound. So I will say 0 and
they don't have a
6. I can
quarterback.
also see 3-3. They're going to knock the tar out of the Dolphins at home. They're going to knock the tar out of the Patriots on the road. Okay? They're going to beat the brakes off the Jets on the road. So those 3 games are revenge games, and they're getting the foots put in them. Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, you're getting run over. Ravens at home, they got the home field advantage. They're going to lose to the Ravens. It'll be a battle.
No, I'm not buying that. I'm not
Excuse
buying
me?
the Browns are just going to run over the Patriots.
They're going to run
I'm
over the
not.
Patriots.
Sorry.
They're going to beat the
Yeah, I'm
Patriots
not
down.
buying it. Not buying it. Not buying it.
Let's see when that game is.
The same team that the Dolphins were making the playoffs.
The Sunday
Get
before
out of here.
the Sunday before Halloween. What is
Can't wait.
Halloween on a what? Halloween's on a Friday. That 27th is a Monday. So Halloween is on a Friday. Okay, button up, buckle up, folks. Okay, Halloween Friday. I don't know if that works. Okay, so yes, October 26th, Browns at the Patriots. They're going to line up and run over the Patriots after taking their lumps to start the season. Yes. You know what Drake May is going to be seeing? Ghosts. He's going to be seeing Myles Garrett on all sides of the field. Myles Garrett is going to be hunting him down. Yes. Will Campbell, get ready for an education because it's coming. Week 7, 8, whatever the heck that is. They're going to beat down the Patriots after they've been beaten down in the first 6, 7 games. All right, you see whatever you see 7-10. Chris sees 7-10. I see a slow start. I see 3 straight wins against the Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets. Lose to the Raiders. Tough game at home. Beat the brakes off the Raiders. Beat down the Niners. Beat down the Tennessee Titans. A competitive game on the road against the Bears. Beat the Bears. Lose to the Bills at home in a good game. And then they have the Steelers at home, which I think they can win. And the Bengals on the road, which I think they can also win. Okay? I see this being a 500 team, a battle-tested team. Other people think that they're just going to be an easy out because they're towards the bottom of possibly the best division in football. All right? And I see iron sharpening iron. Yes, they're going to get their, but they're coming out of the North and they're just going to clobber these their non-divisional games rather than getting beat up in the North and then giving away those non-divisional games. All right. And now we got to finish looking at the Patriots because they've been we've been talking about the Patriots in terms of behind the scenes, but now we got to talk about them in terms of on the field. Also need to get to the situation as we conclude, we wrap up the NFL before we move over to the NBA. Talk about Luka Doncic, his injury, Giannis Antetokounmpo, his desire to play overseas. Should he back off, because of injury? But let's look at the Patriots first. I got the Browns again at 500, possibly over 500, and just as a tough, mean. I think they, people are thinking, oh, they're just the Browns, and we're going to come from the AFC East, which is diminished, and we're going to, no. I think it's going to be the other way around. They're coming from the AFC North, and, the Patriots are looking like a cupcake rather than the other way around, rather than the Browns being a cupcake for the Patriots. We'll see. We have the receipts. So, take a look at the Patriots where everything is sunny right now. And again, I don't have a problem with it. I'm glad that there's enthusiasm around this team. I do wonder where some of this enthusiasm could have been last year. I'll keep saying that. Folks can keep pushing back on that. That's fine. But the past is the past. Let's talk about the present. As Junior Soprano would say, speaking of the executive game, past is the past. Let's talk about the present. Some have the over-under on the Patriots as high as 9 wins. I think that's outlandish. My bro would probably be in that way of thinking. Let's take a look. Because it's in a book. A Reading Rainbow, folks. I have the Patriots at 6 to 7 wins. Some are at as high as 9, possibly even double digits. Let's see. Okay, so the Patriots open the season versus the Raiders at home, 1-0. Bro, you're welcome to chime in. They go on the road to the Dolphins, 1-1. Steelers at home, 1-2. Panthers at home, 2-2. At Buffalo, 2-3. At the Saints, 3-3. At the Titans, 4-3. Browns at home, 4-4. Falcons at home, 4-5. Buccaneers on the road, 4-6. Jets at home, 5-6. At the Bengals, 5-7. Giants at home, 6-7. Bills at home, 6-8. Ravens on the road, 6-9. Jets on the road, 7-9. Dolphins at home, 7-10. That's my 7-10 for the Patriots. I have them losing twice to the Dolphins. If you split that, 8-9. You think the Patriots are going to beat the Falcons at home?
Yeah.
I think Michael Penix is about that life, and he turns it around. You think the Patriots are going to beat the Buccaneers on the road?
That's going to be a tough game.
Be a tough game. I don't see it happening. They got a trap game, Tennessee on the road.
I see them beating the Dolphins in Miami. That's what I do see.
So you have them starting the season, or the second game, they're going to beat the Dolphins. So they're going to you have them just beating the Dolphins both games.
Yep.
You have them sweeping the Dolphins and the Jets.
Yeah, I do.
So they're going to sweep the Dolphins and the Jets. Okay. Are they going to beat the Steelers at home?
In
I
the
don't think
second
so.
game,
That's the
I think
third game.
Aaron Rodgers is going to need some time. Aaron Rodgers is going to need
That's
some
the
time.
third game. Third game of
So
the season.
yeah, I think that will be yeah. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to need more than 3 weeks to get it
So the
rolling.
so Patriots
Aaron
going to beat
Rodgers
the
is going
Steelers
to
at
need
home.
more than 3 weeks. Yes.
Okay. Panthers at home. That's a trap game. They should win. On the road at Buffalo, loss. On the road at the Saints, trap game. They should win. On the road at the Titans, trap game. They should win. You have them beating the Browns at home. I have them losing. I have them losing to the Falcons at home. You're saying it's a toss-up. I say it's a loss. Tampa Bay on the road. Jets at home win. Bengals on the road loss. Giants at home win. Trap game. Bills at home loss. Ravens on the road loss. Jets on the road win. Dolphins at home. You have it as a win. I have it as a loss. So I have them at 7. You have them closer. You have them at 9, possibly 10. You're saying 9, possibly 10 wins for the Patriots.
Yep.
Which would be the type of year that you were looking for. Last year, a swing. Does that get them into the playoffs? Maybe, maybe not. AFC is a monster. All right. But they're right there. They're right there in the conversation. All right. We've been going for a minute on the NFL. I'm gonna withhold unless folks have I was gonna talk about the Aaron Donald situation and people following him around and making not just Aaron Darnold, excuse me. But professional athletes making professional athletes feel unsafe, uh, particularly with the rise of gaming. I think those things are connected. So I'm going to hold off on that. I want to move over to the NBA and then move through that. Get to slice of life as well. We'll get to slice of life, bro. You might have some thoughts relative, but I did want to talk about Luka Doncic, who's got an injury. In terms of the European, our European players, they feel very passionate.
We're gonna see something this year in the NBA with the world versus the U.S. We're
World
gonna see
versus the
something.
U.S.
Yeah, we're gonna see something because they're gonna take that very serious. The world is gonna take that very serious.
Well, the U.S. takes it serious.
Well, we shall see because the All Star game. We shall see the vibe.
We shall see the vibe. Let me get this. Okay. Let's get this for folks on the screen. And we can get it in real time.
Pret Lietuvu 5 spēlētāji bija 20 punktos Latvijas valstīm. Kristers Zorigs parāda kārtīgu Jaunpils spēku. 1 blēciņu, 2 noliek ar zemi.
Dončič kalibojot, ir piecēlies kājās, neliek svaru uz labās kājas. Tagad groza arī apsēžās Dončič, prasa.
Pret Lietuvu 5 spēlētāji bija 20 punktos Latvijas valstīm. Kristers Zorigs parāda kārtīgu Jaunpils spēku. 1 pret Lietuvu 5 spēlētāji.
You know, so those are tough injuries, you know, because he's planted. You know, and the guy kind of bumps, you know, falls back into it. You know, that's a tough one. Fortunately, his knees are a little bit bent, you know, so his knees aren't locked. You know, so you risk a hyperextension, right? So he can kind of, you know, the angle, his knees are bent, so you don't want anybody thrusting back into your knees. But he was able to move back. You know, he's not just locked in.
Yeah, word from the Lakers camp is he's fine.
You know, and so limps off. Take some time, obviously, to heal up. You know, and then you just kind of go from there. You know, for me, listen.
My biggest take on Luka is, you know, great for him. He's gotten back in the good shape, but he still doesn't play defense. So I'm like, in the NBA today, you're gonna have to play defense to beat these superstars, and they're coming for your throat. Yes, you scored 30. They scored 40. So I don't think I think the international game fits Luka so much better than the NBA. And that's not a slight to how he plays in the NBA. It's just you can hide his lack of defensive skill more so in international play.
Hide his skill in international play. For me,
hide his
Luka Doncic. Yeah. You know, Luka Doncic competes defensively. He does not need to be a defensive stopper. The narrative about Luka Doncic relative to defense, I am unimpressed by it because no one harps on the fact that Steph Curry is not a lockdown defender. That's not a narrative surrounding the chef, that he's not Drew Holiday on the defensive end. And so I think that is a fair point, that teams hunt him. Smart teams hunt Luka Doncic defensively. Right.
Hunt him. And teams hunt Steph Curry too.
Yeah.
You know, so the things that come down to it defensively. So, you know, if teams hunt you defensively, and in the league today, the West you can't hide. You can't hide. So, I mean, the Lakers could stack their team with as many defensive prowesses as they want. Marcus Smart is not saving Luka Doncic. I'm sorry. It's not happening.
You know, for me, I don't think Luka Doncic needs to be rescued.
No, he doesn't.
My view is that Luka Doncic.
The Lakers, watch out back. The Lakers, just watch. Lakers bounce. They don't make it further than the first round. Again, they get bounced. That's the Lakers for the next 5 years is first round bounce.
Well, in the West, you have to beat Minnesota. You have to beat Houston. You have to beat Denver. You have to beat Oklahoma City. Okay, so the Lakers, they're competing for the 4, 5, 6. They're trying to stay out of the play-in. If they're in the play-in, that means they're going to have to go against OKC or Houston, so that you're done. If they can be the 6th seed, that might match them up with Denver. You're done. So the opportunity for the Lakers to make the second.
They play Dallas. They're done.
I think they're better than Dallas.
Nope.
Dallas has injuries, and they have a kid that's wet behind the ears. They have injuries and a 19-year-old. The Lakers are better than Dallas.
Come playoff time, those injuries, how?
Yeah, come playoff time, if Dallas is healthy, great. But you give me LeBron, Luka.
Come playoff time, you give me a healthy Luka, which I would love to see him be healthy come playoff time, but we'll see. If he plays a lot of games this year, Luka will be banged up come playoff time. So,
and throughout his career, Luka Doncic has been ready for playoff time, and he's lit people up. That's his resume.
he has lit people up.
Okay, and so that's giving him a full season with, he's traded in the middle of the year. It's unexpected for everybody. He makes the most of it. Playoff Luka is
he got traded to the Lakers. Boo-hoo.
Playoff Luka
Cry me
is
a
all
river.
time.
You got traded to the Lakers. Oh my! Let me be sad about it. Yeah, I hated that. That narrative missed me for it. I don't care if he just bought a house. I don't care if he did anything. He's playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. FE, period.
It's a transition, particularly if you don't ever expect to get traded. Dirk Nowitzki expect to get traded from the Dallas Mavericks? No. And Luka Doncic was in the same. Luka Doncic wanted to retire with the Mavericks.
So guess what? The NBA, and I don't know why we always discuss it's a business. The business side of it, and he had to have known something was going on behind the scenes. Don't be blind. He had to have known there was muffles going on behind the scenes. That's where I really am in disbelief that he was completely blindsided, because he must have known that people were unhappy with what was going on within the organization. The carpet doesn't just get pulled underneath you like that as a superstar. I'm sorry. I'm not buying it. They called me in the middle of the night and he was traded. No, not buying it. I'm sorry. I'm really not buying it. That was brewing. They made the finals the year before, Andre. That was brewing.
It was brewing that they would make the finals again?
There was brewing that he was going to get traded.
No, I don't. Okay, if you right, I think that if it's working, you want to go ahead and fix it. All right, good luck with that. My view is, if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it. But if it needs to be fixed when it's not broken, and that makes you somehow, a visionary, then have at it.
I mean, he caught a break catching the number 1 pick, but that I feel like that whole Luka Doncic was brewing, and I don't think that just. I'm not buying midnight. These two ended up on the phone, and AD is traded. No, I'm not buying it.
So you're pro Dallas, I'm pro LA. In order to make the second round, they have to get that 4-5 seed in order to be matched up against the Clippers, against the Timberwolves. Those are winnable series.
I don't even think they're better than the Clippers. I'm back at that point. They will not be better than the Clippers this year.
There's no shame in not being better than the Clippers. The Clippers starting lineup is ridiculous. It's not. The Clippers starting lineup is tough.
Ridiculous.
Obviously, they're going to have to be healthy, but Zubac, Kawhi, Harden.
So I saw something about Kawhi that he trained last year like he was almost like he was playing to the finals, and he said his knees were fine. So, if Kawhi's healthy, Lakers are in trouble, and I mean that in a very serious way. If Kawhi's healthy, the Lakers are in serious trouble.
I can't co-sign that because he was healthy last year and they lost to Denver. It did go 7 games, but they got destroyed in the 7th game. So,
But they also have a better. They also have a better. They have a better team this year than they did last year.
Okay. So, you got Harden, Beal, Kawhi, Zubac. You throw in a 3-and-D guy, Derek Jones as your 3-and-D guy. Their starting lineup is tough. You got Chris Dunn coming off the bench, Batum, John Collins. No, their starting lineup.
John Collins is their starting 4. Their
John
starting lineup is Zubac, John Collins, Kawhi,
Beal, and Harden.
Beal, Harden. That is a starting lineup.
And you got Batum.
Like, you're going to see John Collins
Lopez,
be unlocked. I mean, John Collins
Chris
just
Paul,
played with Trae Young.
So, yeah, the Clippers look like the favorite for that 4th spot. So then you're talking about the Lakers and Minnesota for the 5 spot. I think San Antonio is gonna blast up the charts.
San Antonio is gonna I don't see San Antonio is gonna be in that 5-6 range, like 1 to 6. They could be in that like 5-4 to 6. Depend, if Wemby is healthy all year, they're top 5. They're top 5, maybe even 4.
So you got San Antonio, you got Minnesota, particularly San Antonio and Minnesota. Golden State is figuring it out. Memphis, Sacramento, Dallas, Phoenix, Portland, New Orleans, Utah. No. I think Portland can take a step forward into the play-in. The rest of those teams lack identity and direction, therefore, because they don't know who the heck they are. They don't know where they're going. San Antonio knows who they are and where they're going. Minnesota, back-to-back Western Conference Finals. Right? So the Lakers, they were the 3 seed this year. That was huge. To get that high in a competitive Western Conference, I tip my hat to J.J. Redick.
I don't see that happening again, though.
Right? But this year, the Clippers are better. Minnesota should be better. Okay, to bump them down. So it looks like, and then San Antonio is going to be better. So we'll see. But this idea that the Lakers not making it to the second round is somehow a failure, they're just there's really no place for them to go. Okay.
So if them getting Luka and winning, trying to get out of the first round is a successful season to them every year, then so be it.
So be it.
I see though Joker going to LA.
Joker to the Lakers.
I also see Joker just retiring and going to race his horses.
Have you seen Jokic's brother?
Yeah,
who is a mountain of a man?
Absolute unit.
His brother, it's hard to describe. He
makes Joker look small.
Right. Because they're both 7-footers. He's just looks like a football
100
player.
pounds more than him. Yeah, he's like 100 pounds more than him.
He's got the football composition. No yawning on SandCity Sports. So let's talk Giannis quickly. as well as a little bit of the Eastern Conference, and then we'll get over to Slice of Life.
The Eastern Conference is wide open. I feel like this year, Jalen Brunson he's good. I mean, it's his year to show out.
So Giannis waiting for permission to play for Greece in the Eurobasket. This is pro forma as far as I'm concerned, unless the Bucks want to make a mountain out of a molehill. It's important to these international players, Eurobasket. They want to put on for their city. Frankly, there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to. And they just need, he's just waiting for the Bucks to say, just to make it official. I think back to the unnecessary battles between Michael Jordan and Jerry Krause about essentially the same thing. It was Jordan playing, in summer leagues, and Krause had this, if you can imagine it, authoritarian view. Even went so far as to refer to Michael Jordan as property. You are the property of the Chicago Bulls. Jerry having little to no cultural sensitivity. This was noted in Playing for Keeps. Outstanding book about Michael Jordan. Outstanding biography. Jerry Krause should have known better than to call a black man from North Carolina property. Of course, Michael Jordan went ahead and played in the games and did, what he needed to do to get ready in the offseason, and it was just swept under the rug. But the Bucks are going to have better sense. Giannis will be able to play for Greece in the Euro Championships. And it kind of lends itself to, we started this show talking about organizations and the situation with the Commanders and having peace and harmony within your organization versus all of these unnecessary turf wars, in my opinion. It's looking like Giannis wants to be loyal to the soil, which means you want to talk about first round exits. That's where the Bucks are on their way in the Eastern Conference. Okay. The Cavs are going to be at the top of the conference. The Magic are going to be at the top of the conference. The Knicks are going to be at the top of the conference. The Celtics will be at the top of the conference. Yes, that's right.
No, I don't know if I can get with that one, but
okay. Yeah.
As much as I want to say that, I hope you're right. I'm just gonna go there. I really hope you're right.
All right. So Cleveland, New York, Orlando, 1, 2, 3, in no particular order.
Atlanta,
Detroit, 4.
Atlanta,
5. Okay. Now we have the teams that are hurt. Indiana, 6. Milwaukee, 7. Miami,
Toronto.
No. Toronto's a dumpster fire.
Toronto's making
They got 18. Toronto has 18 small forwards, and they got rid of Masai Ujiri. Dumpster fire. Philly, Embiid is not healthy. We talked about this previously around here, that they needed to build it around Maxey. Embiid is not healthy, so they're not going to be in the conversation either. Right? So again, for Giannis, and Doc Rivers has brought stability. I credit him with that. But they got Cole Anthony and they have Miles Turner. Congratulations. And they have obviously Giannis, who is an MVP candidate, a perennial MVP candidate. But they're not going to beat, in my view, Cleveland. They're not going to beat Orlando. They're not going to beat New York. They're not going to beat Boston. They're not going to beat Detroit. You could throw Atlanta in there if they, who knows what Atlanta's doing with Trae Young, but I don't have them ahead of Atlanta. Giannis, you're loyal to the soil. You're going to grow where you're planted. Righty. All right, just catching up on what's going on, life and times. All right, so with the Giannis situation, all I'm saying is that it appears that a couple of his prime years, how much, Giannis seems to me to be like Kevin Garnett with Minnesota. He's going to get a lot of accolades. Yeah. There's not going to be much winning. It's going to go for a couple more years. He's going to start thinking about his legacy. He's going to force his way out to win championships. He's got the one championship. They should have never traded away Drew. The Celtics should have never traded away Drew. It's going to be the same situation. You jettison championship players, you stop winning championships. So MVP chant on 3, it's going to be tough for him to win MVP because he's never going to have a team that's in the top of the conference in Milwaukee. It's tough to get stars to go to Milwaukee. Drew Holiday was willing to do that, and he brought a championship. This situation with the Celtics, this new owner that's coming in, is the stupid money at the table. It was supposed to be Wyc Grousbeck stayed on, and they had a 4-year window to win championships. You jettisoned that halfway through. You could have signed Drew, and I've talked about this ad infinitum, to a 2-year deal to bring him back under the second apron concern. Or you could have just taken the second apron hit. So I think that with the Celtics, there was a clear break in terms of the transfer of power that you see now with Wyc Grousbeck washing his hands and being out of there because they're no longer a championship team. And it has nothing to do with Jason Tatum being injured. They would have still been a championship contender if you kept Drew and let Tatum sit this year out and heal. I said what I said. Would they have been a favorite? No. You would have had hope to have, if Tatum doesn't come back, let's say Tatum doesn't play the entire year, then the Celtics are not winning a championship under any circumstances. But they would have been right back as a championship favorite. They would have been right back as a championship favorite next year with the team intact, minus Crispy P. You got rid of Drew. You don't have Tatum. You lost your culture. You don't have a coaching staff to support Joe Mazzulla. All right? You're looking like a divisional round exit at best. And you know what you're looking at the year after that with Tatum? A divisional round exit at best still. You don't have a championship team anymore in Boston. Now they're talking about bringing Anthony Simons off the bench. Are you kidding me? Peyton Pritchard was the 6th man of the year. I like Peyton Pritchard. All right? I think that he's a good guy. He's around the Cape. Why would you not start Anthony Simons? You know, even though he's no Drew Holiday, and bring Peyton Pritchard off the bench and just keep what you had last year. Peyton Pritchard is your sixth man with punch. Anthony Simons didn't come to ball. Is not coming here to be a six man. So, and then they're talking about trade him. Then trade him. What are you going to trade him for? Picks? Stupid. So you're going to essentially give up Drew Holiday for the future. A future that is not going to include Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in their prime. This new owner has just gotten it's ridiculous. So back to the Eastern Conference and the Celtics. The Celtics are, this is just a wash year of just getting individual achievements. They don't have the pieces. They don't have the culture. If they lose, they're just going to lose to whoever. The Knicks, the Cavs, the Magic, Indiana, who knows? It's unfortunate. It is unfortunate. Okay, so let's move over to Slice of Life. Something that we do to end our episodes. See what's going on. In the world of sports. Have a lot of okay, so let's get to ready. See if we have any basketball stuff to start with. Okay, speaking of which, just talking about this gentleman. We'll start our Slice of Life with him. All right. Small world that it is. Let's get our friend Peyton Pritchard on the screen. Yep. This is the off-season regiment for the sixth man of the year.
Patty cake, I'm the baker's man. I bake them cakes as fast as I can. And you can tell by how my bread stack up. Then disguise it as rap so the feds back up. Watch it, like my whip, like my chick top. Patty cake, I'm the baker's man. I bake them cakes as fast as I can. And you can tell by how my bread stack up. Then disguise it as rap so the feds back up. Watch it, like my whip, like my chick top.
It's important to note that these facilities might be on the Cape, even though they don't.
I was about to say, it looks like the Cape.
They don't jump out to me. Peyton Pritchard summers here on the Cape and Islands. He does some of his workouts at Monomoy High School.
Okay.
Previously, he's done his workouts at what used to be at the DY Intermediate School, which replaced Madikey's Middle, which is right next to their high school,
Okay.
right on Station Avenue. So he gets his hair cut, local barbers. One of the guys that plays in the summer league up in Harwich cuts his hair. And just people just say he's a good dude. Sixth man of the year, deserving to be sixth man of the year. I don't think it makes any sense for the Celtics to start him. Why not have him be sixth man of the year again? Start Anthony Simons and bring Peyton Pritchard off the bench. It's a win-win. It's Anthony Simons is he's a starting guard. He's not a sixth man. Peyton Pritchard is a great sixth man. Why would you interfere with that? I don't think it makes any sense to start Peyton Pritchard. Now, he's not a starting player to me. He has this role now as this guy filled up coming off the bench. That's his perfect role in the league. Like, is Peyton Pritchard going to be an all-star point guard? Is he going to start in the all-star game as a point? No, he's not. I don't think Celtics need him to start. I think he's great as a sixth man. You're a sixth man that plays starters minutes. So just stupid. Okay, speaking of the summer circuit and the offseason being the most important season, Jeff Curry's camp were the best Under Armour players, kids from the Under Armour circuit.
Yeah.
Let me just get this again. It's loading. Something went wrong. Let's try again. Boom, there he is. And that young man, Quinn Costello, he plays for the Middlesex Magic, who you would remember, Dwayne?
Yep.
Middlesex Magic.
Stay out of my shot.
By the way, folks, as we're getting this footage, let's just make it clear. This is Quinn Costello, Middlesex Magic, had a breakout season on the Under Armour circuit. This is Olatunde Babatunde. I apologize in advance pronouncing his name. He plays for Team Durant on the EYBL circuit. He just gray-shirted. He was the number one junior. Now he just gray-shirted. And so Tynan Stokes, who plays for the Oakland Soldiers, is the number one senior. We'll see what their rankings are. If Tynan Stokes is still the number one senior, or if all of a sudden Olatunde Babatunde is now the number one senior, number one, number two, whatever the case may be. So that's who this young man is. I bring this up. I don't know if folks out there in television land watch ESPN. I imagine you do. And you have respect for Marcus Spears. I have a ton of respect for Marcus Spears as a commentator. He just seems like a good dude. Seems like a good guy. His son, Marcus Spears Jr., and who's been talked about on this program, right? As a possible, he's now the number one junior in the country. So that storyline has been out there that Marcus Spears, and you can check the receipts going back. We were talking about Marcus Spears Jr. in the early days of July. I look back on them favorably. Beautiful time. It's been a month. It's been a glorious summer. We were talking about Marcus Spears Jr. around Peach Jam time, around the live evaluation time. So Marcus Spears Jr. is now the number one junior in the country. Not that he wouldn't have otherwise been, but it has a lot to do with this young man here, Mr. Olatunde Babatunde, gray shirting and coming up, and now he's a senior. Store that away for later. So Quinn getting the reps, getting the scrimmage against Steph. good bucket for Quinn. We'll watch that again. Hey, out there getting buckets with Steph Curry. So he's one of the kids that they talk about being a high riser, Quinn Costello. You know, Middlesex Magic. You guys know who Pat Connaughton is. You know who Tyler Kolek is, playing for my Knicks now. These are all Middlesex alum. Haven't had a player break through to the NBA after Tyler Kolek, whose story is interesting. He started as a Division III guy. When he was with the Middlesex Magic, they were not a sneaker team just yet. They weren't on the Under Armour circuit. So he started at Division III, George Mason, lit it up there, wanted to stay. Coach left during COVID. Shaka Smart came to get him. Ended up being Big East Player of the Year. The rest is history. But he's a guy that trusted the process, what you have to do in terms of your youth basketball and development. And it worked out for him. Okay. So we're talking about the summer season and the process and just, right, not skipping steps, so on and forth. We're going to stay with that. We got a couple more coaches to speak to. A couple more coaches are going to talk about the summertime and how important it is. We're going to start with a legend and a Hall of Famer, Bob Hurley Sr.
100% believe that teams are developed during the basketball season, and summers are for kids individually get better. You know, as much as we want to give away camp championship shirts at camp, and the kids are all, because they're competitive, everybody, boys and girls, they all want to win, play, they all want to get the championship game. It's really important to just get better. Absolutely 100% believe that teams are developed during the basketball season, and summers are for kids individually get better. You know, as much as we want to give away camp championship shirts at camp, and the kids are all, because they're competitive, everybody, boys and girls, they all want to win, play, they all want to get the championship game. It's really important to just get better. Absolutely 100% believe that teams.
So that was Bob talking about, okay, Bobby Hurley Sr., the great. I had a clip with Warren Sapp. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it because it's on Facebook, and sometimes the Facebook quotes, Facebook clips X out what I have going on. But, you know, another conversation about the process, right? For our young athletes coming from Rutgers.
College, 16 points a game, 4 assists. Ben Simmons numbers. Everybody knows Ben Simmons in here. Ben Simmons numbers is the #1 player in my class. We go to college, we do the same thing, you know. Same thing. I'm killing my freshman year, right? Time comes past, season goes, I'm killing. I get suspended 4 games, violation of team rules. Okay, not a big deal to me at the moment. You know, I'm let down, I'm hurt, you know. But now, watch how this situation snowballs. So, okay, during this time, 30-point games, I'm on ESPN, highlights, top 10 plays, all you can imagine. You know, I'm having a great year. But I got suspended for 4 games, right? During a hot season of mine. 39 points here, 30 points here. I think I went on like 4 games in a row, 30 points. Get suspended 4 games, okay. I'm leading the freshmen in assists. I'm leading the freshmen in steals. I'm leading the freshmen in points. Big Ten, you know what I'm saying? All I can ask for, right? Now it's award day. Big Ten awards, right? So I go into my Rutgers locker room and I sit there by myself because I already know that the decisions that I made for me to get those 4 games suspended, now it's gonna haunt me right here. So I go in there and sit there, and sure enough, the Big Ten freshman, 2015, 2016, Ethan Happ, Wisconsin University. Now, mind you, what I told you, I led in points, assists, steals. I did that. All I could do was cry. That's all I could do was cry. Because all my hard work that I put into there, right there, I watched it just go away because of mistakes that I made. You know what I'm saying? Those 4 games cost me Big Ten Freshman of the Year. It cost me Big Ten all tournament team. It cost me everything that I was working for that year, for my career, for my high school. You know, everything that I wanted to be. The decision that I made cost me 4 games and took all my credit away. You know what I'm saying? Took all my credit away. Had one of the best years you can imagine. But now I'm in the locker room with my university crying because of the decisions that I made. You know what I'm saying? So don't let that be you. You know what I'm saying? Everything matters. You might not think that the little things matter, but they matter. And then it's too late. You know what I'm saying? It's too late to fix it now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's over. Can't go back. Can't go fix it. Now all I can do is figure out, okay, what can I do better? You know what I'm saying? Great freshman year, nothing to show for it. Sophomore year. In college, I go to college.
Thoughts? No, for me, again, you know, it's particularly for the young star athletes, it's a long journey. It's a long journey to get to where, you know, even, you know, if you go in and you're balling and it's going your way, we're going to stay on that point, right? Because you're young and you don't have the distractions that you're going to have once you get into college. So that success becomes harder to, you know, that it becomes harder to thread that needle as you're getting older. Not that it's impossible, but it's not the same as when you're young, your formative years, particularly in middle school, you know, and even in high school where things are just, you know, it's just kind of everything is flowing, you know, and you know, you haven't really hit some of these curveballs that you're going to face. Right. So that's amazing. This guy, you know, is right there with Ben Simmons as a freshman, gets suspended, and it completely takes him off of his trajectory. We're going to stay on again with the Utes.
I'm from right down the street, PG County. Been going to school here all my life. Went to DeMatha. And started on varsity till I was a senior. Had one high Division I offer in Indiana. Went there. Wasn't one and done. Wasn't 2 and done. I went to school for 3 years. But I got my degree. And I was fortunate enough to be the second pick in the NBA draft. And a lot of people in here, a lot of guys in here, they know me. And I'm a gym rat. I feel like nobody in America works harder than me. That's my mentality every time I wake up. He tell you, I blow him up all the time. Where we going? We going to the gym? When we getting in the gym? When we getting in the gym? Are we getting in the gym? That's all I know, man. That's the only reason why I'm sitting up here talking to you guys today. It's because I worked everybody. Everyone. I'm from right down the street, PG County. Been going to school here all my life. Went to DeMatha.
PG County. I forgot he went to
started
DeMatha.
On varsity till I was a senior. Had
1 year starting on varsity.
High Division I offer in Indiana.
Yeah,
went
crazy.
there. Wasn't one and done.
That's crazy.
Wasn't 2 and done. I went to school for 3 years. But I got my degree. And I was fortunate enough to be the second pick in the NBA draft. And a lot of people in here, a lot of guys in here, they know me. And I'm a gym rat. I feel like nobody in America works harder than me. That's my mentality every time I wake up. He tell you, I blow him up all the time. Where we going? We going to the gym? When we getting in the gym? When we getting in the gym? Are we getting in the gym? That's all I know, man. That's the only reason why I'm sitting up here talking to you guys today. It's because I worked everybody. Everyone. I'm from right down the street.
Again, so those two clips are connected right there, right? Because that wasn't Victor Oladipo averaging 30 as a freshman, having all this acclaim, putting himself up there with Ben Simmons, who would go number 1 overall at LSU, right? And it's just all lined up for you. And it just seems like you can hoop and then you can, right? Okay? You work hard, you play harder. And you can just balance these things, and that's normal, right? And that's what throws a good amount of athletes off track. I dare I say most athletes, because there's very few people that are Allen Iverson, right? We always compare, you know, we know the superstars. We know the Paul Pierces, right? there's only a certain amount of people that are Hall of Famers. Okay, Paul Pierce was stabbed 9 times early on in his career, hanging out, doing what he wasn't supposed to be doing. All right, and then he got himself on track and stopped doing that foolishness and had a Hall of Fame career. Okay, does anybody remember Jahlil Okafor? I do. He won a national championship at Duke, pride of Chicago. He came into the NBA balling for the Philadelphia 76ers before we stopped having centers. You know what else he was doing? Getting in fights. You know, he's in Boston. I see it on TMZ. He's fighting 3 or 4 people outside of the club. Yeah? Do you remember Jahlil Okafor, number 3 overall pick?
I remember that, man.
Yeah.
Knocking people out in the streets of Boston.
Yeah. He came into the league
that clip.
doing the same things he was doing in college, the same things he was doing in high school.
At Duke. He's doing that.
Won himself a natty. You know, now, never mind the fact that the game changed and kind of left him behind. But, you know, so there's more, like, that's the process for most professional athletes. And that's really the mentality of, say what you want about LeBron James. He spends $1 million, which is not much because he's a billionaire. But, you know, Jaylen Brown is the same way. They invest $1 million, $2 million in the process and in making sure that they're ready. So these guys that are max contract guys have the same mentality as a Peyton Pritchard, who is, yes, he's 6th man of the year, but that was unexpected. Peyton Pritchard was a fringe player. Now he is an established rotation award-winning player, but he has to stay hungry. Peyton Pritchard is not at the Beachcomber. He's not at the Chatham Squire. He's not at, you know, Anejo. He goes out on occasion when he's here on the Cape. People see him out, but he doesn't have to be the man at all these different places. He's working like it's the season during the Cape off season. Right? So, you know, these clips just talking, it's good to see, for, you know, both sides of it. Not that you can't recover, but you see a lot of athletes, the neon talent athletes, the Michael Beasleys of the world, who's honest and transparent. Michael Beasley, number 2 overall pick. Michael Beasley got kicked out of rookie training camp. He got kicked out of rookie orientation, him and Mario Chalmers.
For smoking weed in the car.
Okay? So the number 2 overall pick got kicked out of rookie orientation. But he's the number 2 overall pick, so it's not a big deal. It's not. Did Derrick Rose get kicked out of rookie orientation? No, he didn't. Okay? And how did that work out in the aggregate? All right, so point is just, you know, the league, these professional leagues, they're full of Victor Oladipos, you know, and then you do have just certain people, but even you talk about, you know, Allen Iverson, and he certainly had his issues off the court. Again, you get kicked out of all the casinos in 2 states. You have issues off the court. But Allen Iverson was about basketball. He had a love, and, you know, he was a gym rat, as well as, you know, he was a gym rat. He was also a man about town. But him being a gym rat allowed him to have that, you know, to extend his career and keep going. All right, you guys just saw this. What's going on here? We're going to talk a little bit more about the process, and then we'll do a little bit more of just life in general. But we'll talk, you know, we'll move over to football. The day in the life.
What fall camp looks like as a UCLA football player. The day starts early. You get up at 5:30, head down, get all the food you need for the day, and you head right into meetings. Morning meetings usually run about an hour and a half right before practice. It's team and then special teams, and then we get on the buses. Kickers load buses early so we can get to the field, get warm before the rest of the team gets there. We're doing fall camp off-site, so they had this portable locker room set up for us that we can get ready in right before we head out to the field. They went all out, painted the field, UCLA banners everywhere. They made it just like home, and the Chargers used to practice here, so the the facilities are perfect. On your way out of practice, you grab a drink, hang your pads to dry, and head into the lift. Portable weight room again, but super vibey being outside. I kind of like it. Once your lift's over, you hop in the cold tubs, get that body temperature cooled down, and you head right back to the hotel where you get some food. And I mean, look at this. They do not miss with the meals here at fall camp. Grab some to go, head back, take a quick nap before I gotta head right back to meetings. The afternoon meetings are always a little more heavy duty. You go over everything you did over practice and plan for the next day. After that, we loaded the buses again, went and did a walkthrough on the field, and came back and got ready for dinner. That night we had a little street taco bar, so good. After dinner, you come in for one more meeting, team bonding, where we come closer as a team, and then you head back to your room and go straight to bed because you got to do it all over again. In the life, what a full day at fall camp looks like as a UCLA football player. The day starts early. You get up at 5:30, head down, get all the food you need for the day, and you head right into meetings. Morning meetings usually run about an hour, hour and a half right before practice. It's team and then special teams, and then we get on the buses. Kickers load buses early so we can get to the field, get warm before the rest of the team gets there. We're doing fall camp off-site, so they had this portable locker room set up for us that we can get ready in right before we head out to the field. They went all out, painted the field, UCLA banners everywhere. They made it just like home, and the Chargers used to practice here, so the facilities are perfect. On your way out of practice, you grab a drink, hang your pads to dry, and head into the lift. Portable weight room again, but super vibey being outside. I kind of like it. Once your lift's over, you hop in the cold tubs, get that body temperature cooled down, and you head right back to the hotel where you get some food. And I mean, look at this. They do not miss with the meals here at fall camp. Grab some to go, head back, take a quick nap before I gotta head right back to meetings. The afternoon meetings are always a little more heavy duty. You go over everything you did over practice and plan for the next day. After that, we loaded the buses again, went and did a walkthrough on the field, and came back and got ready for dinner. That night we had a little street taco bar, so good. After dinner, you come in for one more meeting, team bonding, where we come closer as a team, and then you head back to your room and go straight to bed because you got to do it all over again.
The food was delicious, but that is a grind. That is, I mean, you got first class amenities, first class this, first class that, but you're just being pushed to the max.
Yep.
Pushed to the max, and so you can see how. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, let me see. I don't know if I want to. Let's one or two more clips. We'll talk more slice of life stuff, perspective stuff.
And I gotta get ready to call it, man. I'm tired.
All right, maybe you can stay for one more. We'll head over to a program you're familiar with. A program, Breakfast Club.
Who built America? Break it down from your great-great-grandfather, how he started and where it came from.
Moses McKissick the first.
That's right.
Okay, so let me start with saying I am the proud CEO of a fifth-generation business in America. And I know Charlemagne keeps calling it 7 generations. He's just calling in the girl behind me.
Okay.
And her children, my grandkids.
He got in trouble for that earlier today. She was one of the producers was like, it's 5th generation.
I keep saying 7. I thought it was 7 generation. Because that's what it's going to be.
Yep,
Okay.
manifesting. He's speaking
That's
into
right.
existence.
He's manifesting. So we date back 230 years in this country, starting with the first descendant of our family, Moses McKissick I, who came to this country in 1790 as a slave and was taught the trade of making brick. His son was Moses McKissick II, and he was a master carpenter. And he actually started in North Carolina, but he was given as a gift to the Cheers family in Nashville, Tennessee, or Spring Hill. And so that's when the McKissicks moved from North Carolina to Tennessee. He had 7 girls and then 7 boys. And his first son is Moses McKissick the third, and his brother Calvin. And they became the first Black licensed architects in America. Wow. Sure, you don't want that one to stand.
Take yours. You need to take it small. There you go.
And anyway, they were known because they traveled all through the Northeast and the South. They built over 6,000 churches. They built 13, 14 historically Black colleges. All the colleges, all the buildings at Fisk University are pretty much designed by Calvin and Moses McKissick. Meharry Medical School, Tennessee State University, Tuskegee. And so they worked all through the South. They also got an opportunity to go to Haiti and work with Papa Doc, and then over to Africa. So these men were very innovative. And the company was then passed down to my father, William D. Berry McKissick. And so now we're 4 generations in, if you haven't lost count.
All right.
And then the company was passed down to my mother, who was a fierce leader all by herself. And then eventually I stepped in and took over the company as the 5th generation.
When I read this book and I see how this empire started in the 1800s, it reminds me of how resilient Black people are.
Yes.
And we can navigate our way through anything. So it gave me a sense of hope, especially for the times that we're in now. Has it always given you that sense of pride?
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, 1 in 5 businesses fail the first year. 65% fail in 10 years, and the average family business only lasts 24 years. Now, the chances for a family business to pass down to a 2nd generation is like 60%. The chances of it passing to a 3rd is 14%, and to a 4th generation is 3%. So here we are at 5 generations. And so I think what we do in the book is we make a case as to how the McKissicks were able to do that. And it goes all the way back to slavery. So slavery was different in every state. Like North Carolina was probably the most lenient of slaves at the time compared to, let's say, Alabama and some other states.
South Carolina.
Yeah. And really, it's because they didn't have as many of the huge plantations. Slave masters had more like 12, 13, 14, 15 slaves. So the slaves were more like extended family. They didn't have to be suppressed. And we saw a plantation where there was a family of 5 people, but there were 300 slaves working for them. So who had the power?
That's right.
Right? So you have to suppress the 300 people if you want to survive. And so it wasn't like that in North Carolina. So we make that case that, the leniency of slavery in that state must have helped the McKissicks get to where they are. And that's what we have to do, is tell our stories. And that's what our book does. It's a receipt. All the colleges, all the buildings at Fisk University are pretty much designed by Calvin and Moses McKissick.
Speaking on a lot of things, frankly. Shout out to the Breakfast Club. Shout out to Charlemagne. A lot there. We're going to bring it back. Last clip. Have to include the MV Film Festival.
Maybe you know, but Barack and I have been coming here for more than 35 years. This has been before we were the Obamas, and we've lived probably everywhere on the island. We raised our girls here, Sasha's here, all of, this is a special place for us because, as you all know, this is where we come to enjoy being us. And I think if you have kids and kids of color, as you all know, we're having to be able to be on this island where they can be free and they can roam and go and maybe you know, but Barack and I have been coming here for more than 35 years. This has been before we were the Obamas, and we've lived probably everywhere on the island. We raised our girls here, Sasha's here. All of, this is a special place for us because, as you all know, this is where we come to enjoy being us. And I think if you have kids and kids of color, as you all know, we're having to be able to be on this island where they can be free and they can roam and go and maybe you know.
I didn't know that. I didn't know the Obamas had been coming to the Cape and coming to MV for that long. And and I knew they had the house and they sold their house. They bought the house from the Celtics owner and they sold it recently, you know. But you know, they got another property that they have on top of that. But yeah, those last two clips, you know, the McKissick's just talking about that generational wealth and that perspective of handing things down. I'm gonna have to go ahead and check out her book. And although it pains me, I was not able to make it over to the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival. I stay connected with the festival. Spike Lee was there. Are you gonna see The Highest to Lowest soon, bro? Is that in your list?
Yeah, I gotta go see that ASAP.
Yeah, man. It's likewise. Certainly need to get out to movie theaters just in general to participate and support. But Highest to Lowest is certainly at the top of the list. Dave Chappelle was in the building. It's again, I kick myself. You know, everybody's busy, but you know, it's on me that I haven't taken in a Martha's Vineyard Film Festival. Speaking of which, and shout out to Michelle Obama. Shout out to that tremendous words of wisdom. Like, we can't go. You see, folks, I got my Woods Hole. I got some Woods Hole swag. So I made it to that film festival. I stayed on the motherland, but kicking myself for not making it over to MV. Bro, you have anything else specifically?
Man, that's it.
Okay, well, I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.